Is this thing on, as they say in the business? Welcome to Outlaw Radio on a Monday night, man. Live from the basement, live from Milwaukee, the north side of Milwaukee. The north side is the best side, as they say. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm known in some circles as the Negro Whisperer. But some people refer to me as the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, or simply the hip hop snob. I'm not alone, as you can tell. I have my comrade with me, Mr. Carter. What's popping with you, bro? How you doing tonight?
Peace, family. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, the hood healer. I'm the ghetto witch doctor. I'm all y'all holistic health and wellness coach, Mr. Kumar Carter. Yeah.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Do for self, do for self, do for self. Milwaukee versus everybody. Some common themes of the show. People say, what is Outlaw Radio? Well, I wrote a song about it. Like the head go. No, I'm just kidding. What it is basically just something for us, foundational Black Americans, Black men. I always say, give it up for brothers. Give it up for the brothers, man. Give it up for the brothers, man. The black man. It's somebody who everybody talks about, but nobody talks to, except for on Outlaw Radio. I like to feel like we talk to the brothers, Kamar. I feel like brothers understand us, right?
Feel like we do.
And so welcome to the show, man. There's a number attached to the show. It's 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. Share the show, share the show, share the show. Hit like, hit follow, go to the YouTube page, hit up Kamar for some Nature's Nature, holla at your boy for some Outlaw apparel, which I'm not wearing right now. Bad host, not wearing no out, but you can still get with me. I thought the hoodie season was over because it's still, but it got cold. So I still got Outlaw Radio hoodies, man. Zip ups and classic pullovers. Get with me, man. Kamar, it's a lot to talk about tonight, man. It's a lot to talk about. And a lot of times I struggle with just knowing where to begin, right? Like, because I have so much usually in my talking points. I'm like, but damn, how do I bring this thing in right? And so normally what we do is if there has been any loss over the weekend, because we haven't been on since last Wednesday. If there's any loss, if you've experienced any loss, lost a family member, lost anything, prayers and condolences to you. That's usually how we give it up, right? But this week is a different kind of energy with this. Because Catherine Dunham, Bryan, whatever her name was, the Karen who so long ago said some shit she shouldn't have said about some shit that didn't happen by somebody who didn't deserve it. And I'm talking about the white lady who was responsible for the death of Emmett Till. She died, right? And you say, naturally, we as black people say, Kev, who gives a shit? Fuck her, die slow, all this kind of, I've seen it all, right? Kamar, you've seen the memes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me spin it from a different direction, because that's what we do on Outlaw Radio. I was watching Willie D. Shout out to Willie D. Willie D is my man, 50 grand. Willie D has been on the show. Ghetto boy rapper, Willie D. And I love what he does. He had the cousin of Emmett Till, who's actually in the room when Emmett Till was abducted. He had an interview that he had done. He's now a pastor. And he said that he believes in the power of forgiveness, right? He said, he's saved now. So he believes in the power of forgiveness for this white lady. He said Emmett Till was his best friend, right? And he said that death anywhere is a tragedy, right? And this, that, and the third, whatever. You know the doctrine. But the thing is Willie D said, at what point do black people stop playing that? Why are we so quick to forgive? Now, keep in mind, my opinion is fuck her, right? Like, I think she's one of the worst individuals that could have ever walked this earth, a waste of skin, if you will. But the thing about her passing is this means nobody ever really was brought to justice for what was done to that brother. You feel me? And so in some ways, it makes me kind of sad that she died, because I'm like, I wish she had lived long enough to either go to jail or suffer some calamity by somebody in the community. I hate to say that out loud. So how do you feel about it? What's her name? Catherine? What? Somebody in the chat room tell me. Dion, I see you in there. We on this shit early. I'm saucy tonight. Fuck it. We on it early. What do you think about the death of this Karen? This. What do they call him? Yurugu. Is that what they call him? Somebody put me up on my shit. Is that what they call him? What do you think about this? I mean, do you give a fuck? Does it matter? I mean, what do you think about her? Like in general, just you think about the fact that what happened to Emmett Till, if you know the whole story, this is the individual that got the whole thing kicked off, and she died. So do you say rest in peace or rest in piss? Which one do you say?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say rest in piss. I don't think, you know what I mean, you do anybody that's passed like that. But you know what I'm saying? I just feel like this is something that we got to learn from again, you know what I mean, to understand the nature of these people, how they was, you know what I'm saying, and how they still are, you know? Because there's some people that feel like she shouldn't have said shit, I'm sure. But you know what I mean? I just feel like there's something that we need to learn from, or not learn from, because we should already know it. But you know what I mean? Just shit, man. It is what it is. She gone. I'm glad it came out that I'm glad it came out already before she passed.
Allegedly, this was all a lie, an exaggeration. So it's all for nothing. Look, if a bitch ain't shit was a person, that's what I call her. A bitch ain't shit was a person. If that was a person, right? Come on, man. This and I'm saying all this, but I still understand what you're saying. Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm saucy early. Excuse me. I'm saucy early.
Hey, feel how you feel, man. You got the right to feel exactly how you feel.
Talk your shit, Kev. Talk your shit, right? Now listen, and I'm not, this ain't even defamatory against women, because to refer to her as a woman is disrespectful to women. This is how strongly I despise her. You understand me? So I can use any kind of misogynistic term towards her that I choose. I can choose my weapon with this demon, because you got to choose a powerful weapon to slay a demon, right? And so I'm saying this is an individual who more than likely embellished the details about the interaction in the first place. This makes her doubly evil. This makes her 2 times evil, right? And so once again, it is somebody passing on, going on. So we, in back-to-back weeks, we go from Harry Belafonte last week, who passed, and we said at the age of 96, we didn't feel sorry. We wanted to say thank you, right? So with this individual, what do we want to say to her? I said, rest in piss. Kamar said, Kev, that's a little bit too extreme.
I say, don't say nothing. I say, don't say nothing. Let time pass. Fuck it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get you. Bro, where you at with
That's
this,
what
man?
I mean.
Where you at with this?
I mean, you know, for me, fam, she definitely wasn't the first and ain't the last, you know, to lie and cost a black man their life. You know, it just reminded me of the movie Rosewood, when she said she was raped by a black dude.
There you go.
And everybody knew it was a lie. It gave them reason to act out violence towards people that they didn't like anyway. So, I mean, I'm thinking that motherfuckers may have knew she was lying back then, but it gave them reason to put a northern uppity Negro in his place.
14 years old.
Just from I mean, you know, I definitely can't justify it. You know what I'm saying? But it's this shit. I guess if I say anything to her, is, you know, your karma is your karma. You know, you're gonna have to make up for this in the next comings. You know, do better next time.
You know, that's that Michelle Obama bullshit. You go low, I go high. Fuck that. I'm going lower. You go low, I go subterranean. You feel what I'm saying? Listen, man. Listen.
Yeah, she ain't worth my energy, fam.
Yes. But once you just made that historical reference, what you reminded me of is that even allegedly Black Wall Street was kicked off by some accusation made of some black man with an unwarranted advance on a white woman. So my question then becomes to brothers, can we not control ourselves around white women? Are we just, we just turn super rapey whenever there's a white woman in the room? I'm like, if you go from there to Rosewood to Emmett Till to how many other cases, like you said, come on, man. Like, so it's an illusion, right? And we know Anslinger, when we talk about the illegalization of drugs and the criminal aspect, is Harry J. Anslinger, who said he didn't want black men smoking reefer because it makes them want to screw white women. What the fuck is going on in America?
Yeah. Same thing has been going on forever. Control and power through acting on other people's xenophobia. Like they knew they were saying bullshit back then, but the society didn't know they was on bullshit and allowed them to do whatever they was doing under the guise of protecting their way of life from being changed by people that didn't want in their community.
I think I figured out what I would like to say. I think I'd like to deliver her eulogy here tonight.
For sure.
And I think it's very short and sweet. I think my thing to her is have a peaceful journey, but just know that there's a special place reserved in hell for you. I hope you enjoy the ride, but hell is definitely your destination. Now, people say, Kevin, you don't know if she said she got down on her knees and she repented. According to your Christianity, if she got down on her knees and repented and she was sincere, she's forgiven. And you don't have the right to tell her to rest in piss. It's so many layers, especially when you add to the fact that there's an actual magazine interview with her uncles or whoever the perpetrators were, in which they talked about the fact that they had done it during their trial and nobody went to jail. So it's more blame to pass around besides her. The society that allowed her to get away with that superficial ass lie is also to blame. And that's why other white people who be saying, well, it wasn't me. Well, yeah, motherfucker, but you stood around with your hands in your pocket. So that's what we call being complicit. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. Give us a call. 262-202-5131. This is how we get
off with a bang.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. No other way to do this, man. You know what I'm saying? All gas, no break. I see you in I see my chat room. Okay, let me catch it. Dion, what's up? He said, what's the word?
Peace.
What it do, Jim Shoe? Shane Crewman says, peace, Outlaws. What's up, man? You and my brother, Black Shabaka. He said, Carolyn Dunham Bryan, rest in piss. Shay said, Paris said, rest in piss. We agreed. He said, Demon is right. She's the mother of all Karens. She is the OG Karen, though, that we know of. But he said, right, I'm going lower, Kev. I feel that. She was protected for over 60 years. Well, it's a lot to it. It seems like your run-of-the-mill story, but it's a miscarriage of justice on so many levels. And we're talking, 50, 60 years ago? This is not that long ago. While people always say, that was a long time ago. I don't do that kind of thing anymore. Look around right now, this motherfucker's in jail over a lie that I ain't gonna just limit it to white girls, but that's the easiest way it seems to get a brother. Get him a white girl,
so
next thing you know, his ass in trouble.
That one dude from the Creed movie, like, is this a new lady or? Because I remember they said the lady retracted her statement saying that he didn't assault her, but now I see him being dropped from all kinds of movies and they going to trial, I guess. So is this a new person with a new allegation, or is this the one who originally recanted her statement?
I guess there's the thing with the original accuser, but I think that there are more people who have come out now, allegedly, this is all alleged, have come out now and decided that they wanted to say something about some things he's done. My thing is just that, to me, he looked like a weirdo off top.
Damn.
I'm sorry. Am I the only one who'll say it out loud? Did he not look weird? Like when you seen his picture, like he's at the award show dressed like it was like he was a butler in a plantation at the Civil War. Like, why do this nigga got on tails? I didn't get it. I was thinking Django the whole way. So I don't know, man. We have to wait and see. All this is alleged now, but I don't know. And you know what, real, I haven't even done enough research into it to even know what the specific accusations are. Just because it's one of those Emmett Till type things, and that's not to be insensitive toward any woman who's ever been hurt or harmed. I am aware it's sexual assault month or what, right? Correct, right, Kamar? You stand above ground on that one. But I'm saying there's been an original way in this country of what I wouldn't even say original, but just a thing of white women being able to accuse a black man, and motherfuckers is ready to burn the whole town down. This ain't no regular rape. This here's a Negro taking a good white woman. Aside from the fact of there's a thing in this country in which there are a lot of white women who fantasize about being with a brother, right? And I've seen white women be over the top aggressive for brothers, right? And then when it didn't go their way, or when the brother, brothered, because sometimes as brothers, you just brother, right? You ain't no fucking up nothing, right? I'm fucked up, man. I can't go over there no more and shit. If you know, you know. When it turns into an accusation. Oh, this motherfucker X, Y, and Z. And it's just the modern day rope. It's the modern day noose, man. So this thing with, white women saying, oh my God, this black man, it's almost where the Karen thing comes from. She has the audacity to speak out against that savage Negro in the community. Help me, please, white man. Right? Those are my worst Southern white people accents. Y'all call in and give me y'all's, right? I don't know the fuck. What do I know?
Southern Belle.
Right. Pause, right? Not that I'm playing a woman on the show. Real, you be trying to start shit. Like, y'all, since I came out and said if I said I was gay, my ratings would double. People been waiting like any night now. This motherfucker gonna say yay. It ain't gonna happen, man. Y'all gotta worry about it. And I never said I was going to do that. I said if I did that, it was a story. It was somebody brought that up to me the other day. That's why I was laughing about it. It's like, man, that shit was crazy. Like, because everybody was like, wait, what is Kev talking about? And I'm like, only if you don't know me, right? Like, you probably was tense, like, oh shit, where's this going? I guess people really thought I was finna like come out on Facebook or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, man, Real said shit. This is bad. How was y'all weekends, man? I had a crazy weekend, a crazy laid back weekend because I was homeboy alone. How was your weekend, Kamar? What you get done?
Mine was cool too, man. I was laid back. I ain't do nothing. I pretty much took the weekend off and let everybody do pickups instead of me getting out here so much. Okay. I ain't go van nowhere. I just kicked back and got some rest.
Yes, that's good.
I'm gonna go hard this week though. I'll be at the Sherman Phoenix every day.
Okay.
Going hard.
Okay. How was your weekend, Real? I didn't get your nickname tonight either. Let me move my banner so I can see your nickname.
Okay. It was fly, man.
OB Rail Kenobi. He's OB Rail Kenobi tonight. Go ahead, OB.
I got on my Ben Kenobi robe, you know what I'm saying?
I see. The nigga had a lightsaber. Police gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. You had a lightsaber. Nigga had a lightsaber.
But no, I was, it was just cool, man. Laid back. I got out here, kind of prep my garden beds because I knew the rain was coming, so I wanted to get them situated, get some of my topsoil out there, hit it with some. I threw some bone meal out there, you know what I'm saying? So when all that rain hit, it'll put that phosphorus in the ground, so that when I get to planting tomatoes and peppers and shit like that, they got the phosphorus they need to give me that fruit. So that's what I did, man. Just prep my garden, keep making this wine. You see, I got a strawberry banana wine brewing right now. So just doing my thing.
I said banana wine. What the fuck? Like, I ain't never know what. I gotta sample that.
Man, I got you, G. Once it's done, my lady, because I was gonna do a strawberry wine, and she was like, "We got some frozen strawberry bananas in the freezer. Why don't you do that?" And I was like, "I really don't want to fuck with no bananas like that," but I was like, "Fuck it," That's why you make wine at home so you can experiment. So, man, it's pretty though.
Fruit punch wine and shit.
It done cleared up. It's like it got a peach color. It ain't even like pink like I thought it would be. It's more peach, but But yeah, man, that one brewing, and then we just sampled the white grape wine today. That motherfucker, man, it 3 sips and your whole body warm. Like
It's compostulated. You were saucy. As soon as you drank, you got saucy. You put on your robe. You put on your robe and lit a cigar. You became Hugh Hefner.
right, man. So I want more people to do it, fam, so that we can do bottle swaps. We can have like wine offs, man. You know, I heard somebody made a sweet potato wine, so I think I'm gonna try to do that shit.
All right, man. We got a caller on the line early. I think this is my brother. You're live on Outlaw Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got to turn your device down, though.
All right, what's going on, Mr. Barnes? Shabaka Tankor giving me a call from Las Vegas, Nevada, man. How you guys be?
We are well, my brother. How about yourself?
I'm just out here, man, you know, looking at this desert, getting ready to warm up, man. You know what I'm saying? And we're expanding, you know, Chewbacca's Black Experience Enhancement, and I saw you guys there. And I wanted to call in and ask you something. Okay, earlier today, man, I saw up on your wall of a car hitting a school bus and hitting another car, man, there in Milwaukee.
Man.
Yes, you are referring to the current Kia Boy video in which somebody asked, was it staged? And I can tell you it was not, because there's a 15-year-old kid who was hanging out the back of the car who is in critical condition in the hospital right now.
Yeah,
so it's not staged.
Man.
I think
friends took off and hit it and left him, man.
Say that again, my brother.
I said his friends took off and left him.
Yeah, I'm saying, oh man, I'm very, very sorry to hear that, man. How's the child doing?
Well, like I said, he's in critical condition. They said he has life-threatening injuries. The whole deal is that the question was like, was it staged? And let's see what it is I can identify with the individual who recorded it, because if you live here and you happen upon one of these occurrences, you do pop your phone out and say, okay, let me see what this is. But you don't expect it to go that left, right? Including to the point where he slides into your shit at the end. Like,
right. They cut the camera. I was like, damn, what they about to do? They cut the camera off.
Right.
Oh, man.
You'd have heard me. You'd have heard me in the background like, oh, hell no. It would have been boop, 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 boop. I would have been snapping. What the fuck? Nah. But no, it's absolutely a tragedy. But it's something we see in this city all the time, where we've all been witness to this. And it comes close to being, you know, catastrophic sometimes. And you say, oh my God, I just swore he was finished smack, man. And this time he actually did. He hit a school bus. And I don't know. I think they said someone in the school bus was injured too.
Yeah, 11-year-old boy.
Oh man, was dude drunk, man, mechanical failure or what?
He was
listen, man, he's swerving. It's the shit they be doing too.
Okay. So he was just going around smashing, as they say out there in the West, and then got caught up, man.
Well, no, I think Kamar was explaining it perfectly. Kamar,
he's swerving. Like, it's some shit they be doing in the stolen cars here, where they swerve, and you know what I mean. I guess he wasn't paying attention, and then he made that swerve and hit the bus. Bam. Probably wasn't paying attention. You know, they in the car having fun, laughing and shit.
Probably smoking.
Probably smoking too.
Maybe off some pills. You know, how you get down.
Man.
This is
definitely DUI then in that case. Man.
Dumb and under the influence.
So was more. So right now it was just 2 people that got hurt.
You know,
hold on. Man, what you say? What you say, real?
Oh no, I was saying, how many people in total got injured?
All I've heard about is the 15-year-old, because you know, when they do, most of the time when they're doing this, somebody's out the sunroof or out the the back windows.
See, I seen the video. I didn't know
he happened to be hanging out. If you look at it slowly, before he hits the bus, you can see dude hanging out. He's hanging out the back window on the passenger side. That's where he hit the bus at, on the passenger side. So basically, he got smashed. It just twisted up, you know.
Hey, remember a while back, man, the young sister. Remember a while back, the young sister was sitting on that window.
Man,
it's what they do. It's what they do, man.
Remember a while back, the sister was sitting on that window, man, and fell out. Remember?
Hold on, Shabaka. Hold on, Shabaka. Go ahead, Kamar.
I said, remember a while back, that sister was hanging out the window and they had that accident. And she fell out that window and died. Remember, that just happened a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. This is Kia Boy shit. This is Milwaukee shit. This is what the youngsters here. It's one of the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a part of, and
Yeah.
whether people want to accept it or not, it's part of their culture. It's part of their culture. Just like with us, the whole gang thing and the whole dope dealing thing,
Mhm.
it became part of our culture
Right.
and our community. So this is what they're doing, and that's the
Yes, sir.
tragic result of it. So that's the answer to the question.
Yes, sir. And then, if I may announce, Mr. Barnes, tomorrow night on the Shabaka's Black Experience Enhancement here on 8 p.m. Central Time. We're just having a general conversation. Where do we fit in these contemporary times, status of Black men, the miseducation of our children, and how we can control Major League sports because 85% of the personnel is Black. And, these dudes are making enough money, man, where they need to go ahead and flip it. You know what I'm saying? Where they start owning teams that's not formed their own league. And we've discussed this here before. You look at Steph Curry, when you're looking at LeBron James, man, or even those guys over there in the NBA on this side, and you know what I'm saying? The Black players that's generating revenue. So, I would just like to see, for those after me, man, since I'm getting up in age now, to form their own league, man, put our own people to work. The same thing out there in Los Angeles, California, man, which is like about 250 miles down the road from me, controlling our own productions, and hopefully what Tyler Perry's doing down there in Atlanta, man, hopefully it'll be something more positive than that, man, because the imagery of that they are projecting of this is men, brother, it's just downright pathetic. And then, of course, about the Jonathan Majors situation, that's going on with him, trying to bring him down. Also, too, that Carolyn Bryant died, the woman who falsely accused him and killed.
Shabaka, it sounds like you ain't been listening to the show because we done talked about all that already.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you get old, man. You start moving slow.
I think you ain't listened to the first hour of the show. Like, wait, hold on. We literally just talked about it, but it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, man. But definitely check us out tomorrow night, man. Everybody's welcome to call in, man. I'll post it up on your wall, man. And it's always a pleasure speaking with you, gentlemen.
My brother, it's always a pleasure when players meet. Right.
Peace.
All right,
yes,
man.
Sir, indeed.
My brother.
All right, man. So I'm gonna hang up, man. I'm gonna check out the rest of the show, man. Yeah. Okay.
Got you. Yes, sir. Hit us up, man. Chat room on bump. I've been missing y'all in the chat room. Tiarsha, welcome, Tiarsha. I have your hoodie. She said, and watch the bus. Someone fell off the bus. He had non-life-threatening injuries. It was 2 of them hanging out the windows. One on the passenger side and one on the back one on the driver's side. I hope this was a whole wake-up call for their dumb asses. Deion James said, fuck the Bucks. We'll talk about that too. Talk about something about that too. But I want to get back to the Kia Boy thing. Our children, man, like these are babies, right? We don't want to, however you think about it, right? And this is, like I said, it's part of the culture of now, because this has been going on for a minute here in Milwaukee, and so it's a cultural thing now. It's what these youth, they look at this as something to do. Now, she just stated, would this be a wake up call for them? In my heart of hearts, I'd say no, because there's been so many tragic accidents as a result of this whole reckless driving, Kia Boy kind of thing, right? I don't want to label it a phenomena, but it's damn sure something. It's a thing right now. It ain't just, that's just what no, it's a thing now. And so you look at those kids and you say, man, poor baby, because if you got smashed between a car and a bus at high speed, hanging out the window, God bless you, man. You got some long days ahead of you. But goddamn, what is it gonna take? And I'm not asking for our kids to be, perfect kids or act suburban or act like, there's not some ills in this city and in the community. But what the fuck will it take for these kids to realize for themselves that this shit is a fruitless pursuit? We got to stop doing this shit. Does it take them getting smashed and smushed and twisted and getting their bodies racked and dying? Or
apparently not, because they keep doing it.
Is it simply that they just don't give a fuck and don't care if they live or die? But that says there's a whole other kind of lane and avenue of issues there. Juice Lady in the building. How you doing tonight, Juice Lady?
I'm well. How y'all doing?
Or dog.
We are good.
Peace,
We're
peace.
saucy. We're saucy on Outlaw Radio. Monday night. Live
What's
from the
the
bay.
problem? Kid boys out here smacking buses. What y'all talking about?
Yeah, this is because they said that there's a 15-year-old who's in had life-threatening injuries, and then somebody said somebody fell off the bus. I mean, there was niggas flying everywhere.
It was.
I don't know. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like,
I'm
it
saying it.
was like, damn, how you end up on the other side of the street and shit? I mean, because you hanging out the window. Whoever the driver was is obviously someone who's never driven a car, because how do you swerve into a school bus?
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. You know what I mean? They had to been in there playing, you know what I mean? Laughing and shit, giggling, not paying attention where he going. He already, you know what I mean? He can't drive. Just started driving probably yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
It
You in
was.
there playing and you hit that motherfucking bus, the bus. It's just
Okay.
stupid, man.
Yeah. Sharon Evans, how you doing tonight? She said they don't get it. They don't get it. Apparently they don't. Tiarsha said at least it's a wake-up call for the ones that was in the car. It's a go to sleep call for some of them. I mean,
Hey,
you might be
shit,
in the
and they
car, you
left
might
their
be.
friend.
Well, they was the funny. It's not funny, but the craziest part of the video that I noticed was before, even after the car hit the person who was getting the footage, they feet was already out the driver's seat.
Yeah. They was on the ground already.
They was already like, I'm out of here. Whoever that kid was. And it's ironic that he caused all the carnage, but he got away. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's usually how it works.
Probably hanging out the window, kind of flipped a little bit, so he's running to hang it, and boom, dipped out. And that be the thing, motherfuckers dip out. Ugh.
When you
Leave
don't
your
respect,
guy. You leave a guy, he might be dead out there.
I mean, and it's your fault. You heartless.
This how
You
you
didn't
do
even-
your friends. You a real
At
one.
least hide across the street and be trying to see if he okay.
Hey, you a
But
real one.
Yeah. I think
just-
about that all the time about all these dudes who are killers, who are and I've heard this story and this comparison before about a group of dudes who would consider themselves real ones, carrying semi-automatic shotguns, drive past a house, shoot the house up, kill women, babies, and children, and then run from the police. It's only 2 police in the car, and it's 5 of y'all with machine guns, but you run from him. You just shot up somebody's house. So it makes me question the whole thing around, like, real nigga. What is a real nigga?
Like this a whole shootout then. Do that. You know, don't be
Well,
scared.
I mean, if that's what you on, we ain't worried about going to jail. Why? Because we gonna kill the motherfuckers who pull us over.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not encouraging that. I'm just
No,
saying I
right.
don't understand how you go from I am the predator to being, to being a rodent. Like 5 minutes after you do, oh shit, they're gonna police, run. No, motherfucker, we got 5 AKs. Look, we can get further if we at least shoot the first 2 that arrive. That'll give us some time. Let me stop. I don't want to give nobody no ideas. I'm just saying the mentality of the criminal, the individual who's a real nigga. It always trips me out. You live in the basement on Outlaw Radio. What's going on?
Hey, Kev, how you doing, man? It's Dion. What's going on with you, pimp, buddy?
Man, I am tight, man. What's popping, Dion?
Man, you already know, man. I had a minute before I jumped back in this truck. Hey, but you know what the killing part about that kill boy mess? If that person, whoever car that was, if the vehicle was stolen, the person, if they have insurance, do you know their insurance will hold? Like, okay, like say, how can I explain it? If your vehicle gets stolen, it's insured. They could sue your insurance even though you weren't operating the vehicle. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Got you. I got you.
Yeah, that's
That's
that's crazy right there. Cause I didn't have a Kia, I had a Malibu, but somebody had stole my car one time, and then the police told me like if they would have hit somebody and killed them, they could have sued your insurance. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you though, Kev. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, I don't even really care about. You know what I mean? If it, a lot of times there be so much going on in the city that it's hard to care about everything. When I see stuff like that, I don't personally know them. So does it affect me? Nah, it really don't. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was my car that got stolen, I'd be like, well, shit, I'm happy because I ain't got to pay this note no more. You know what I'm saying? So I look at that stuff and it just be like entertainment, you know, like
Wow.
it is what it is, you know. I know, no, seriously though, you know, because it happened. So I mean, me, you, or nobody we know was in the car, and like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if my son or my daughter was in the car and they was injured, or even if it was a fatality, I'd be sad if they lost their life, and I'd be like, you got what you deserve. You know, like
Okay.
you said, when you play foolish games, you get foolish rewards. If you out here driving with somebody and they're in a car and you know it's stolen, they out here driving reckless and y'all engaging in that type of behavior, ain't nothing positive gonna come out of that. It's only gonna be negativity. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I can't really sit up there and be like, oh, our poor babies and this, that, and another. I just want them niggas to stay away from me. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? I just want them to stay away from me and stay away from the people I love and stay away from outstanding. You know what I'm saying? Like us as citizens, like go somewhere out in the industrial park and drive crazy and run into a building and kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm dealing with another situation and, you know, the car wasn't stolen. But like, say if you driving down the street, you and your wife driving, somebody hit you, boom. It wasn't your fault, it was their fault. That should be on your driving record. You feel what I'm saying, though? And you ain't even had nothing to do with it. It's a reportable accident. That somebody hit me in March when I was going down. I was going to get a guy roll at Oakland Guy Roll. I got hit on Richards and Burleigh. Now I'm a truck driver. You know what I'm saying? I thank God my company, they weren't tripping because I let them know about the accident, and then the insurance, like, I'm not at fault, but it's on my driver's abstract. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we see so much of this stupidity out here every day, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, why care, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a lot of things, you know, like, I'm just going to be honest, a lot of things that go on. And, man, I don't even really too much care about it, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only, like, I tell people all the time, you know, when we was growing up, it was knowledge out there, but it's not like now. These young men and young women out here got knowledge at their fingertips, like, to know who you are, to know where you come from, to know your legacy. And they still acting like porch monkeys. You understand what I'm saying? Acting like the NIGGERs. You know, they're not.
It's
I mean,
funny
come
that
on, man.
it's funny that you would say porch monkey, but then spell out nigger. I'm like, why would you spell that out? You
Yeah, I'm
say
just
that shit
saying
too.
though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make no sense though. Like,
Well, I think
all the knowledge. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead.
I think the thing here is you have to care, right? You have to care. Number one, you have to care. Because these things happen in our community and they affect more than just the individuals directly involved. Because to walk around and say I don't care will be the very day that it will be my auntie in the car that gets hit, my wife, me. But for me to just say I don't care, whatever, then it extends itself to your front door. Because here's the thing about not caring: when you don't care about something, you tend to not do for it. You tend to ignore it. And it eventually gets worse. And so when we do that in our community and say, well, I don't care because it ain't me, then that means you ain't giving a fuck. So you're one less person speaking out about it. So it's a chain, as it's this chain reaction. It's a domino effect to where it gets worse. And then eventually it does affect you. Right? Like, so,
I mean,
and hold on,
a
perfect example of this is for a very long time, white people, suburbanites, wealthier people looked at the drug epidemic that was ravaging Black America and said, it doesn't have anything to do with me because it's not me. It's not my neighborhood. It's not my community. And this thing was allowed to go on to the point where now it got to their front door in terms of what we call an opioid epidemic. And they dealing with it right now. So now I bet you care about it, don't you? When little Billy Joe is snorting goddamn Vicodin pills,
Billy Joe,
and crashing the Porsche and the Volvo, now you fucking care. Right, but you mister, it didn't have shit to do with me. I didn't care. Yep, walked right up to your door.
I definitely care, you know, but I don't know, Kim. I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it like I said, just go on so much. It's so much going on in the community that you really just can't focus on one thing. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute we'll be talking about what the politicians are gonna do. The next thing we talking about crime. The next thing we talking about kill boys. And after a while, it just really don't have no effect on you. You become immune to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Go
In
ahead,
that
Kamar.
sense, that's where I feel him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I get where he coming from because you almost be desensitized to this shit from seeing
right,
this
right,
shit.
numb by
And I
the
feel like that's
frequency
one of
of
the
it.
things that I feel like that's one of the angles that the news do. You know what I mean? By promoting all the bullshit in our community to desensitize us to where all this shit is normal to us.
I will say this. I think it depends on, what your tolerance for pain is, because I want to be aware of all the different things going on. I don't want to have tunnel vision. I want to know that there's a problem over here, a problem over there. I want to know where the problem's at, so I can do my best to avoid them or come up with solutions for them if I got to deal with them. So I look at you. I got 2 young children. Well, I'm not children. I take that back. I got a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old. To me, they're still my babies, right? My son's 16. He out here in this community. Every time one of these dumb motherfuckers, and it be the good kid who gets fucked off. So I have to care about this shit so I can better kind of, at least offer him some insight to say, hey, look, little dog. No, don't go there. Don't be over there. Don't move like this. Here go the things to stay away from. You see them every day, as opposed to saying it doesn't have anything to do with us, Junior. Let's go. Let's go to the park and fly a kite. It'll be us both getting our shit knocked off. So, and to know that it's people that's hungry, to know that it's people who are homeless, and to know that there is issues everywhere, but all good books have a lot of chapters. So to me, it has to be you can choose to pay attention to what you want to, right? Like, because I guess some shit I don't, I'd be like what you saying. Fuck that ain't me. Like the opioid epidemic, I do be kind of like, well, that ain't my people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I could just straight up keep it real with you, but I ain't gonna hold you, man. I'm about to jump back on this road and go back to Milwaukee. I'm up here in Oshkosh, so it's a sundown town. The sun almost down, so I got to get out of town though.
Not a
sundown. I'm about to continue. Yeah, I hope my nigga. Hey, I hope my guy Joe listening, man. Tell Joe I said what's up, man. I'll probably see him tomorrow. He ain't come up to the job. Yeah, I went to Detroit this weekend though, man. And I'm gonna end this off. I can understand. Not saying about Detroit, but I can understand sometimes why people be talking about moving out of Milwaukee, because when you go to different states and see different things in different cities, Milwaukee look. It ain't looking good, kid. But I'm like you, man. F it, Milwaukee against everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to get off this line. I'm gonna listen to y'all.
Yeah, and in the spirit of you being a truck driver, 10-4, good buddy, right? Like, is that what this is?
Over and out.
I already know it.
He honked the
Over
horn
and
from
out,
me.
good buddy.
Right. I feel like I'm 8 again. He hit the horn from me. Peace out, Dion. Yeah, man. I mean, I think he made some good points. Shout out to Dion. And I guess that's kind of the thing why I ask sometimes how y'all feel about stuff, because I guess it is hard to care. I guess it is hard for people to say, man, it's hard to feel sympathetic for some of the youngsters with the way they behave. It's like, I think people look at it like, that's what your ass get. We're quick to say that, but come on, man, we still at the end of the day talking about youngsters. Young people fuck up. That's what they do. Y'all hit us up, man. I'm so behind in my chat room. Let me get the chat room caught up. Let me see. Shabaka says we got to change the narrative for the youth. Tiarsha said it might have been black ice. It wasn't no black ice, Tiarsha. It was swerving. It was swerving and saying, "Oh shit, a bus." That's the only ice they had, unless they drank was on ice. They lean or something. Shabaka said driver must have been under the influence, or as the witch doctor said, must have started driving yesterday. Ain't no telling. Because if it was a 15-year-old hanging out the window, how old was the driver? I mean, I don't think it was I don't know. We have to see. Said that's why the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead was created. I hear you, Shabaka. Sean Mo in the chat room. What it do, Sean Mo? He says, what it do, family? Hey, Miss Francois, Professor, and the doctor.
Peace.
Shout out to the Outlaw family. Damn, the chat room going hard, y'all. I was missing. I was negligent. Mama Jenkins said, good evening, my Outlaw family. Great topic tonight. We got a bunch of them tonight. A bunch of narratives tonight, Mama Jenkins, because I'm a little confused, so I got to talk with my family about some stuff. So we got to talk tonight. Sean Moore says, are they receiving knowledge that reinforcement from their primary groups are their peers exhibiting behaviors. We can say they have all the knowledge and opportunity we can say that they can have all the knowledge and opportunity if there's no reinforcement of society norms, and those aren't norms. I think cultural norms become cultural norms sooner than you think, Sean. Said Shabaka said Hollywood does the same shit. I don't. I'm. That's another part of this. Is somebody said ban GTA and is it movies and I wanted to kind of talk about that, but let me get the chat room at least caught up. He said that's a form of trauma through becoming numb.
You know,
It is.
people talk about banning video games, and video games is like video games ain't making nobody do nothing. But I will say, back when I was stealing cars, I learned how to steal a car because my mom dated a con artist and he gave me a quick 15-minute driving lesson. But along with that driving lesson, I used to play Gran Turismo, a driving game on PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no violence, it wasn't nothing wild. It was just basic motherfucking driving. So when I got my first high-speed chase, I knew how to slow down when hitting the corners. I know how to do a lot of shit. I mean, even going to Chuck E. Cheese, you motherfucking driving, you got to know how to maneuver that shit. So we might as well just get rid of all the driving games if we feel that way. Shit.
It's
that no more driving games, nothing, children.
That's always a slippery slope with me because I grew up in the VHS era. I grew up in the DVD era. I grew up in the cable TV era where we seen any and everything on TV, like on TV or in the movies. And as youngsters, like they talk about the movies that we watched growing up that now wouldn't even be allowed to be out. You think about something like Revenge of the Nerds or Porky's or Bachelor Party or some of these movies, right? That we watched, Weird Science and all this kind of stuff, where it was all the stuff that they say you can't say now. That's what the movie was, right? Like,
right.
So we saw all of this shit. I played driving games growing up. I'm the first generation to have the video games with the Nintendos and all this shit. But I learned how to drive, driving my father's car. And then I took driver's ed. Now I played GTA as an adult. But the thing with me is when you drove crazy, you had a horrific accident. You could look at that and say, damn, I would have never survived that. So that means it's not even practical when you driving on the street. Like, I'm finna drive this car like Grand Theft. Okay, well, then you know what's going to happen.
Because you'll fly out the windshield on that mother.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watched Dirty Harry. Look, I watched The Terminator. I watched Commando. I don't know if you ever seen Commando. Arnold Schwarzenegger killed like 200 people in 45 minutes. I watched Rambo 1, 2, and 3. This is shit I was seeing at 10 years old.
Right.
Karate movies, motherfuckers cutting motherfuckers' heads off. Like, I mean, it goes on and on.
Through stomachs and shit in karate movies.
Yeah, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, we watched all of the Jason, Michael Myers. All that shit came along when I was a kid. How many of us grew up to become serial killers? How many of us grew up to become, the shit we saw in the movies? So I'm not really saying, okay, ban the video game. I think parents have to do a better job of knowing what they are allowing their children to play. Now, what happens is your kid can say, well, I can't play this at home, but his friend gonna be like, shit, you can play it at my house. And then he gets to play it anyways. So that's where you being a strong parent has to come into play. To be honest with you, I've let my son play Grand Theft Auto from a very young age because I played this shit. Right, like, so
it wasn't that bad. I mean, I just depends on the mindset, but it wasn't that bad.
He has his driver's license now. He drives, he doesn't seem to be trying to emulate Grand Theft now. I don't know what he do with my whip when I ain't in there with him. That's why I need to put Alexa or something in the car. So Alexa, watch him.
And I used to be cruising when I played Grand Theft. I used to always switch it to the station that played Ralph Transvest, Sensitivity and shit. And I used to be cruising, take a nice ride. Like everybody wasn't on there being reckless. I was cruising.
Right. I used to have the reggae station going, just cruising, fixing up cars. And
right,
and parking them in my garage.
I just went.
Shit, I was running from the police. I was hitting motherfuckers, making the police chase.
Damn.
Damn,
My radio station was always the old school West Coast rap station.
Yeah.
And I just drove the car. I just played for the missions. I didn't do a lot of side shit. So I just play through the missions and then I'm done with the game. So I'm not really, I'm driving, but I'm annoyed by it because I'm like, damn, I got to go all the way across this board and follow this map. So a lot of times, can't you use like quick travel type shit on there? Because I used to do that a lot.
You can catch the taxi and it take you
Yeah,
right
shit like
back to
that.
the
I used to
mission
not
and shit.
even drive because my thing was the shooting on the game. That's what I
Man,
always like. Oh, what this shit?
I used to listen to the talk radio on there because they used to
That
be talking
bullshit
about
too.
they used to be talking
Yeah.
about real shit, man, like
Yeah.
real incidents, like with aliens and Bigfoot and shit. You know,
What
it'd be
was-
like, damn, I heard about that one.
Not for
Like,
kids, right? Not for kids. And they got a new one coming out, and I'd be lying if I said I'm not gonna buy it, and me and my son ain't
And
gonna
it's
see it.
Grand
funny 'cause
Theft?
I ain't never do no missions on there. I ain't never completed a mission. I
Man,
just get
I always play for the story.
I know.
That's what I play for. I'm old school. I play for so I can say I ended it. Because you say back in the days you have a game, you say, did you end this? Yeah, I ended it. You gotta end it, man. Sean Moore says, when I was working with the dudes from the neighborhood, it was to change the environment that my sons were soon to become accustomed to. As I understand it, our environment has a strong influence on our kids, peer groups, media outlets as well. He said, Shabaka says it's the bullshit from Hollywood that fucks with our youth. I can't put it on Hollywood totally. Because I mean, like I said, I watched videotape after we got a VCR, it was over. I watched every movie I possibly could. And it just I keep saying me. So let me take that out the equation because I'm the anomaly, I guess. Tiarsha says it was slippery and it was slippery and wet. Some ignorant older people were speeding and running in the poles this morning also. No, this was clearly Kia boying. It was clearly swerving. If you're hanging out the window swerving, first of all, it's not even hot outside. So y'all have
Right.
pneumonia in the morning, right? Like, come on,
Hey,
man.
and who drives up the street like this,
Right.
right?
If you see an old person driving like that, they get pulled over by the like, are you drunk, motherfucker? What's wrong with you? So I don't know. We gotta dismiss that slippery narrative. Ace Cooley, what it do? Ace, man, I ain't long time no here. He said, did she say it was a high speed? No, it wasn't a high speed chase at all.
No, that's what I said when I got in my first high speed chase. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I forgot you was once Grand Theft personified.
Yeah.
She said that was the old her. Sean says, hold on, sis. Studies suggest that after kids get done playing violent games, they exhibit aggressive behavior and violent behavior. They've been multiple studies done, and they all have the same conclusion. It's funny to me that people throw that out there like that's an impressive statistic. Guess what? After we seen colors for the first time, we was more violent. What the fuck is we talking about?
But it's like
I am a nightmare.
Right, like it was Crimson Bloods everywhere 2 months later. Like, then you gotta wait for video games. We watched cowboy movies growing up, man. I watched Clint Eastwood, and I watched almost all of the spaghetti westerns. Clint Eastwood murdered 30 people. Outlaw Josie Wells is still one of my favorite movies of all time. And Clint murders everybody. I've been watching that movie since I was like 12 years old. And some of my peers have too. And you know, we didn't do these things. So most of the dudes who I seen doing wild shit, it wasn't because of a movie. It's because they was just crazy as a motherfucker.
Very true.
You know, it wasn't like, damn, you can't blame that on Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. That nigga danced himself to death and shit. That'd have been our case. He pop locked himself to death. Broke his neck trying to spin on his head and shit. Right? Like,
kids out here, it was Macaulay Culkin Home Alone. Said, "Oh, we got this."
Yeah. Oh man, it's on tonight. We doing the helicopter in the basement. Oh, that's Courtney again. I don't want to. I want Courtney. I love you. You always have your private conversations with the chat room. So I'm gonna let you navigate that. Vince says these kids are being socialized in dysfunctional homes. There's some truth to that. There's some truth. I like that he said socialized.
Yeah,
I like that because it's the engagement part of it. Because you can have a conversation with some of these kids and they're coherent. A lot of people act like they're walking around in the days like, I don't know shit. Nobody's ever shown me better.
I mean, honestly,
bad I might steal a car and drive recklessly. These motherfuckers is on this just on purpose. They're on this. This is what they're on. Go ahead, Real.
Right. And I was just gonna say, man, I know families that like the kids legit got the parents around, but the parents are motherfuckers that get with their family every night to drink. You know, the they kids fighting they cousins in the room. You know, like having dragged out fights. Like Vince said, they've been socialized in dysfunction. Like there's parents who the kids seeing their parents arguing, fighting, and mess all the time, quick to talk about pulling up at somebody else's house. You know, so a lot of these kids, it ain't that they out here not being raised or things like, well, it ain't that they're not being around a parent. It may not even be around, may not be that they're not being around a male figure. It's just that the sum of those two motherfuckers together that's supposed to be raising them ain't shit because they just come from a long line of dysfunction.
Yeah.
And they play Grand Theft Auto, right? Throw that in there. You say sprinkle some crack on it, right?
They probably play 2K. I think real shit. I think the most criminals and violent people probably play 2K more than Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
Like
Once again, the Hollywood programming from them rich ass perverted executives. Man, I think Hollywood is guilty of a lot of things, but I feel like because a lot of our kids, we got to understand too, in our neighborhoods, our kids really live within a subculture. They're not really mainstream anything. The music they listen to, the shit they watch, they don't sit down and watch movies. They go on YouTube or Instagram and watch reels and clips and TikToks. They don't. I'm gonna go and watch Magnum PI tonight. Look at the demographic on the show. What's on show? TSI New York. Young kids ain't watching that shit. This old ass people our age. Talking about, I love me some iced tea.
It's music.
That shit. So I can't really blame Hollywood.
Music and their peers probably have more influence than video games and movies because, like you said, kid, ain't nobody really watching movies now. People watch TikTok. People in their cars doing that dumb shit, listening to dumb shit, and the what they listening to is promoting the dumb shit. So,
well, yeah, but that's not Hollywood. Like, okay, so
right.
I can talk about a lot of modern rappers right now to my shorty, right? And he'll say, I don't listen to that because he's listening to Milwaukee and Detroit rappers. He's not, he knows who's mainstream. He don't listen to that. Like I asked him one time something about Future. He damn near laughed me out the car like, dude, nobody, that's for old people. No, I don't listen to no damn Future. Like, if I say somebody who I think is hip now, and I'll be like, oh, Kodak Black. He'd be like, Dad, we don't listen to Kodak Black, man. I'm like, okay. So I don't know.
Kodak Black, man. I got my little 16-year-old over here.
I'm saying my son, they don't.
Like over there in his school, they don't listen to that.
Yeah, they don't listen to that.
Say they don't.
That's what I said. I didn't say all of them. I said my son. That was the example. And
but
he don't like
I think the music more than anything because I know sometimes when certain, vibrations and certain songs come on in my vehicle, they make me want to bust somebody in their motherfucking shit. My foot go a little harder on the gas.
You out here road raging.
It's the music more than anything.
all cause Young Thug made a new song and shit.
It's the vibrations in the song.
Courtney got some inner work to do.
Shit puts you into. They say you are.
You hear me, Real? I think Courtney got some inner work to do.
I do.
Shadow work.
I know I do.
I appreciate her transparency, though.
Get her a book ASAP, right? Get her a book.
That's when I go back to. I swear I go grab real books. Like, man, let me center myself, nigga.
I appreciate that.
Nobody can take me back there. Nobody can drag me back there. Never, ever again. He said, I just got done with that unit. My kids were not allowed to play GTA, Call of Duty, or play with toy guns. I didn't want them to become desensitized. I did all of the above with my son. I took him to the range at an early age. Like, boy, let me show you what a pistol do. Like, we played Call of Duty together against each other. We play laser tag against each other. Right now, when it's warm outside, when I'm sitting outside, I got to keep a gel blaster on me because my son will sneak attack me, and we have all our wars with them. right? I got real. They look real with jail balls in them, and we be tearing each other off, man. Just because, I mean, that's how we get down. But he's not walking around like, yeah, I'm staying strapped. I guess because I was busy fathering while I was doing all of these things. I wasn't really worried about him playing Call of Duty. I was worried about him playing it and not having somebody around to explain it to him. So I would always explain it to him, like this is a video game. Like this could never happen. That could never happen. That's unrealistic. That's yada yada yada. I'm not saying my methods are perfect. I'm just saying they've worked for us. And everybody has a different method.
Man. We don't know.
No, just because people get always talking about his kids and fuck his kids. Like people.
We all just winging it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Black people get mad about anything, man. Ace Cooley said the problem we worship movies like Colors, Warriors, Boys in the Hood, anything that glorifies street life. Man, King of New York was my favorite.
Warriors was such a good movie, man. I raised my son on Warriors. He loved that shit. Maybe that's
Warriors was the shit when we was little. And I don't know how 70s y'all was growing up, but immediately following us watching Warriors, guess what we did the next day? We played Warriors. We divided up in groups of 4 and 5, and everybody was a different gang. Right, we did all that shit.
Y'all feel? Y'all became Warriors the next day, huh?
Man, we right out with y'all want to play Warriors. I'm so and so and so. I'm so and so and so. Like now, this your house is that y'all turf, my house is ours, and you find a way to sneak up on them, come through the alley or something, and we fight. And I'm just playing around and shit. Those the games, you know what I'm saying? That so
we was hitting people with sticks, I mean, I grew up on kung fu movies, so we was hitting people with branches.
Hell yeah.
And throwing pieces of the roof tile as ninja stars and shit at people. So branches and roof tile, throwing it at motherfuckers
in the alley. Talking about this a sword. That's a broomstick. Nigga, don't hit me with that.
Right.
He said maybe that's what Courtney said. Her son's is different. Okay. I said I wasn't going. I'm violating. Erica Hunt, how you doing? She said she just seen the video. Mama Jenkins has made a comment, and let me catch Mama Jenkins. She said, "Look, our parents were our teachers, and you fucking listen to them. These little badass kids are hard-headed and don't have no respect for nobody or life. My son had Atari, and they had driving games also, but it was not theirs in their minds to go steal a car and cause accidents. I wish I could say I've never ridden in a stolen car, and I wish I could say I've never joy rode in a stolen car driving crazy as a motherfucker. I just can't say that because that would be a lie. I just didn't smack a bus. Thank God.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this trailer for goddamn Colors. I'm sitting watch this shit.
I can't believe you ain't never done seen Colors.
You never seen Colors?
Oh man,
David Wayans dancing in the store.
Now see you and Rail starting to hurt my feelings.
Get my rabbit. Get my rabbit.
Man, oh my God, I forgot all about the rabbit man.
Get my rabbit.
God, man. Oh my God! Listen,
Rocket don't stop it. Rocket don't pop it. Rocket bust a cap in the nigga.
My type of movie, Kev.
Man, shut the fuck up.
I can't wait.
Oh man,
the Rocket don't joke and the Rocket don't smoke. Hey, look, now the other night Rail didn't know what Beach Street was, and now tonight Courtney ain't never seen Colors. Man, I'm starting to get upset. Now y'all got to get cultured, man.
I still got to go back and watch Beat Street.
Oh my God, it's
you don't like that shit, Rail?
Colors.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's just like if you know a dude who grew up in the 70s and you tell him you ain't seen the Mac, Superfly, or Shaft, he gonna be like, "What's wrong with you, boy? You ain't never seen Shaft. You ain't never seen Superfly. Like, what the fuck is Superfly?" They consider that like sacrilegious, right? Like this nigga ain't never seen the Mac. He ain't never seen the Mac, dog. You know, Mac Julian.
You gotta watch all the iconic films of the different eras.
Yes, you do.
Y'all gonna have to send me a list. Y'all drop it in the chat so I can get to watch this movie. This is on Amazon Prime. I'm watching Colors tomorrow. Goddamn.
Yeah, Colors is
Colors is shit. Hey, you know what I can dig this. It took me till I was grown to realize what Colors was all about.
Really?
Snitching.
Okay.
Everybody in that motherfucker was snitching. Fraud. Everybody.
I guess I always just thought it
Who
was
put the
about
coke in the fire hose?
right.
Who is Smokey the Bear?
Yeah.
They told.
Yeah.
Everybody told. Everybody was snitching.
I mean, that's the way the streets work, but I just think I
Yeah.
looked at it then as just a dysfunction. Like it was an example of
Well, it's all that, but I mean,
yeah, like, it
Uh-huh.
was just like, man.
when you look at it from a street sense, shit, man, look at all these motherfuckers snitching, dog.
But
Look at,
even then, what was going on in Milwaukee wasn't Crip and Blood, but it was
No, it wasn't that.
criminal. It was
Right.
starting to be people because it was crack in the middle of it, and that's what's in the middle of Colors. It's crack, and so
Mhm.
I was starting to see that. But once you seen Colors, you said, "Oh, okay, red and blue, Crip and Blood." But we had, like I said, Vice Lords and GDs. Vice Lords wore red, and GDs were blue. So it was similar. There was a lot of similarities when I watched the movie as a youngster. I think I was about 5th grade when it came out. And then I noticed the city was different after that.
What did the red pill and the blue pill stand for in the Matrix? Real
Reality or go back to sleep? Is that what it was?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He said Hollywood has his hands in all that. Check out my live feed from Hollywood Boulevard last summer when I walked the Walk of Fame on which stars are on the side. Some people believe Hollywood is, yeah, I just think
Well, it's a lot of occult shit with Hollywood. I mean, even the name Hollywood, they say Hollywood is what sorcerers and magicians made their wands out of. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot of occult shit that go with movies in Hollywood.
And shout out to Shabaka, who's from South Central Los Angeles. He says in color, Sean Penn was a typical crash lapdog. I've been jacked up by them on the regular. So he knows. He lived through that the reality of that.
Man.
Hey, but we talked about them here. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers that was here, just like dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sean Moore said Hollywood has a role, as the brother stated. Watching violence being unaffected by watching his blood and gore has effects. Colors was classified as entertainment, but it actually introduced people to another culture that we've normalized as well. Yeah, that was already here, though. I mean, the gang, it's just all about the gang thing. But there's also a reality behind Colors, because see, we could blame the movie, but the reality was there were a lot of Crips and Bloods who left Los Angeles and moved across the country because it was easier and more profitable to sell dope in smaller places. So they took that influence with them. So we can't actually just blame the movie. That actually happened, where you got caught up and jammed up in LA too many times. You said, man, my cousin them live in Ohio. I'm about to go out here. I take a little work with me. I pop it off. You be like, dude, you ain't gonna believe this. Man, y'all come on out here. We done set up shop. Now you got Crips and Bloods in Ohio. That's how it spread across the country. He said Boys in the Hood was filmed in the Crenshaw district. That's Shay and Kruma. Sean says it's learned behavior. My house fucked up. I'm gonna be fucked up more than likely. Yeah, man. It's a lot of variables to it. I tell you that much. He said Real got it right. Very dysfunctional in the home. Poor conflict resolution skills. Yeah. That's a lot of poor stuff. I said when we run on our enemies. Sean Moore, let me check. Let me get it, because I got this shit I got to talk to y'all about. I'm confused. Sean says media, entertainment, music is all connected by the industries they control. You have Hollywood, New York, Atlanta. Well, I mean, we say Tyler Perry like he's a positive because he's part of that whole machine. If you think Tyler Perry is operating independently of those same Hollywood executives and playing that game, you're naive. Because a lot of his movies can be looked at as negative influences too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stereotypes and kind of shucking and jiving. And once again, it's the days of hating on Tyler Perry have come and gone because he bought the game of the game. He done turned the whole table around. Like, yeah, keep laughing at this shit. Keep laughing at me because I play Medea, motherfucker. Like, this dude has really turned the whole game on its ear, but he's still operating by the same principles. Shabaka says, I grew up in the 70s. Ali was a major positive influence on our youth. Sean says Milwaukee street gangs actually were influenced by the Warriors. Like I said, what did I tell you? When we seen early 80s, when we seen the Warrior, we was little kids. We seen the Warriors. The next day, we was like, hey, it's us against y'all. That whole mentality began there. 17 verse 18, 18 verse 16. He just went into some other shit later. Said if you saw Crush Groove, you should have saw Beach Street. I don't know that Rail has seen Crush Groove. I don't think Kim or Courtney have seen Crush Groove,
Of
right?
course, I pimps up hoes down, man.
Crush Groove. What are you
No,
talking?
no, but Dion just said that.
Okay. I'm just saying what?
Don't say it to me
I
like
used
I'm.
to
I said that to one of my friends the other day. I was like, niggas that say shit loud and slow when they think you slow. Crush Groove. That's like. I heard you.
Well, no, because you said pimps up hoes down. I'm like, I did say it slow, like Crush Groove. What are you talking about? Yes. I did. You right, Courtney. You said facts about Hollywood. Let me see. What we got. A says that's the shit that the untouchables allowed in our communities.
We agree,
And then
Sean. We agree.
Crash stood for community resources against street hoodlums. The lap dogs are the most notorious gangs in Los Angeles. I've read a lot of books and a lot of articles about what they actually were doing in Los Angeles. So back in the day. So I know you ain't lying, Shabaka. Dion said, I hate watching shows to see homosexual scenes.
Where'd that even come from?
Right. Well, Dion just throw it out there. Like, let's talk about everything.
Right.
So are we agreeing that entertainment has a large influence on our behaviors?
Right.
To a certain degree. I think it does, but I think it doesn't. Because I believe that certain individuals, it's not based on entertainment. I just like poverty is what the biggest thing is for me. Poverty plays a more prominent role in crime and dysfunction to me than anything else. You could throw in negative movies or whatever. You could put in negative television, negative music, negative community, but poverty is kind of like it puts a limit on your resource to information early on. Like usually the poor you are, the less informed you are. You feel what I'm saying? So I would say, yeah, okay, I do accept that it has some influence, but I don't think it's as great as people make it. I think poverty plays a much bigger part in it, Sean. So we agree, but we don't. Can you agree and not agree? I guess you can on Outlaw Radio. But look, I also okay. So I was confused about something, right? Because I seen the brat, right? And y'all see guys, because I'm always quick to like I say, black people get mad about anything. Like black people was mad because other black people was mad or was sad that Jerry Springer died. Like black, I don't care what you say, rest in peace. You say happy so and so black. Don't celebrate that shit. Like they was mad. This is Jerry Springer. What did they do for our community? And they was mad, not understanding that a lot of people just liked Jerry from the show. They were very entertained by the show. We watched the shit out of Jerry. You know what I mean? Like in the 90s, Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer, all these shows that was popping up where people getting their ass whooped and people's coming out there like I cheated with your mama and your sister and we all cousins. It was like shit like that. So Sally, Jesse, Raphael. So a lot of people, but they were sad about Jerry. Black people jumped on their ass. Don't you be sad about that shit. You talking about rest in peace. But I was looking at the brat, right? So the brat says their donor of their so her and her wife she's pregnant, right? And because her wife, and I'm not really an expert on this insemination thing, her wife's egg was fertilized and then inseminated into her, thus her becoming pregnant. But it was crazy because, and this article is in the People's News Network, in which she stated that our baby will be biracial because all of the black candidates that we had to choose from in terms of the sperm donors were unattractive. She said the only black man that I seen, one of the only black men that I seen looked like Jiminy Cricket. So we went and got us a tall, handsome white man, and we know our baby's gonna be beautiful because it's gonna be biracial, and those white genes gonna interact better with my wife's genes. This is what she says. And I'm sitting here like, what motherfucking year is this? Is this 1855? This is what I got me a white sperm cell. Our baby gonna be beautiful. I was like, this is some shucking and jiving if I've never heard it. This is the shit that Hollywood does influence. Now, this is where now culturally, yeah, Hollywood's influence, and I guess people say, well, they care, that's influence, whatever. But I believe this is a side effect of Hollywood. But not only is this so weird because it's two women having a baby, but she don't even want the baby to be black. because the black people looked funny. So when I seen this from the Brad, I said, this is crazy as shit. Did y'all even see this where she says she made sure that the baby would be, if they wanted it to be half white, so it would be better looking? I said,
Yeah, that's
wow,
wild, man.
ain't that some shit?
I never,
Don't you
I never thought the brat would be like that.
Yeah.
You did?
No, I never thought she would be like that, man. You know what I mean? I just figured, she from the hood.
Damn.
And
The
then
Brad is always dressed like a
not only that, but
13-year-old
dig
kid.
this, man. But not only that, but she gay, so she already know what it's like to look at somebody in a funny kind of way. You know what I mean? And then to be saying that about your own people, you know what I mean? It's like double fucked up.
She's always dressed like a 13-year-old boy to me. I mean, listen. There was no surprise when the Brad said I'm a lesbian, right? Right. Nobody was like, oh my God, like clutch the pearls. It was like, okay, well, we knew, but then when you start saying, well, we're gonna have a baby, and then it's like making a sandwich, and then you put on it, well, we made sure to get a white dude sperm so that this baby would be a beautiful person, and that white sperm is gonna react better with my wife's genes than that Jiminy Cricket looking black dude. That's what she said. The black dude looked like Jiminy Cricket. Listen, everybody has a right to do what they want to do.
But
I
was
just think
that the
this is
only
very,
black dude though? Because I think that's what's on the headline. Was it just one black dude to choose from?
well, I guess there's limited donors because I don't know if brothers usually go and say, hey, let me get a tube. How much y'all gonna give me for this? I don't know. I know some brothers who done been broke. They stole some shit or robbed somebody. They didn't donate no sperm. So I don't know if his brothers like, man, Kev, I've been doing that for years or whatever would have you. And I don't even know, I don't know the process of it. But I guess minority donors are far and few between. But I would think if you had money and you're a celebrity and you had influence and being black meant anything to you, you could say, no, we're gonna find someone to do this that's a person of color. If this
Right.
agency don't have it, we'll spend our money with another company that does.
Yeah, she could have did her own screening if she was
Right. I would have just
really,
hit up another
really,
celebrity or somebody.
yeah, or she could have just did personal screenings to where she put an ad out or some shit. But I mean,
Yeah.
as far as the brat, I mean, I'm not shocked, man. She was a grown ass woman wearing baubles in her head when she first came out. So she was a grown woman wearing baubles in her head like a little girl, but then she dressed like a little boy when she came out.
Right.
Then she started dressing and looking like a woman a little bit.
They tried it
with Tyrese.
They tried
and then she went back to baggy ass stuff.
being a skateboarder. And then she went to prison.
Right. For beating the bitch or some shit like that.
Right, with a champagne bottle.
Right.
And then she loves women. Right.
Well, I mean, honestly, when you look at it like that, I mean, first off, she's a woman who chooses to dress like a man and be with a woman, but then want to experience the joys and blessings of motherhood. So to me, that's almost
confused.
like
you just said a whole bunch of shit. Like
right. I'm saying that's not going on.
That's
like, what?
Like, when you look at it like that, it's like, you know, I wouldn't expect anything less of her not wanting a black man. I mean, it might be some self-hatred shit up in there. You know, she don't want a black sperm donor. Hell, she don't even want to be a woman. I mean, it might be a whole lot of self-hate that moves her shit. So, I mean, I guess I can't diagnose anybody. I ain't on that tip, but
no.
I'm definitely not confused.
I don't hear, because I hear people putting their mouth in everybody business, talking about everybody's shit. But I ain't hearing people say, hey, the Brad, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. Like, I mean,
shit.
First of all, did we need to know the racial identity of their sperm donor? Why do you feel a need to disclose this? Right? Because it doesn't really have. You were famous for being a rapper and later on a commentator on Ricky Smiley. Your celebrity is not based on you telling us whose sperm you have in your body. Who convinced you that this was some shit you should have been grown enough to say, well, damn, and especially when you're gonna put the sentiment on it that I made sure I got a tall, handsome white man. So you married to a black woman, but you pregnant by a white man, but you don't like men. I told y'all I was confused.
But you said it was her wife's egg that they implanted in her, so it sounds like the brat basically acting as a surrogate.
That's what
Like-
she's just a delivery
Why
truck.
the fuck she didn't want to use her egg? But then that kind of take me back to that self-hate part she was talking about. She like, I don't know. Dang.
I don't know enough
It's
about
just
her
a whole
to
lot
know
of
if
layers to deal
Yeah,
with
it is.
that
well,
shit.
I
Courtney,
want y'all to come fix their life. I want to see that episode. That's gonna
she's
be like
50 though. She's 50. I don't know that her eggs can still. I don't know how her physiology is, and I'm not. I
Right,
respect
maybe she
women
ain't
and
got
I
no
respect their
eggs.
bodies, so I'm not gonna speculate on her. You know, I don't even know if her eggs were still egging. I don't know if is that how you say it. I don't even know if this was still possible. Let me see.
That's your man.
All right, Mo, what it do, man?
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
Peace,
and
peace.
blessings.
Peace.
So I'm calling because I'm about to get off the phone and start watching y'all. I got to get back to studying, but I'm calling to ask your audience, man, to visit my page and fill that survey out. I'm trying to develop this theory. It's called the invasive climate theory. I'll explain it once I get done with the research, but I really need y'all help, and I would really appreciate it. It's on my page. It's on KB page. If y'all can,
It's on my
there.
page.
Yep, I put it on your page too.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome. You're
Right.
welcome. But but it will, after I'm done, man. It's gonna hopefully help us get over some shit. And it's anonymous, right? I don't want to know your name. Ain't no place for your name. So all your answers are your answers. I'll do the data, reveal it once it's done, share what it's about, and I thank y'all in advance.
Right.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Love
I
y'all.
just I need you might need to hit me and explain that a little bit more because you just gave us the cliff notes.
What's that?
I mean,
Okay.
not that I need you to elaborate on it no more, but like we need to just talk about because I need to know what it is so I can promote it. Like I can't promote something because when you texted me earlier, I was like, "What the fuck?"
It's a theory I'm trying to develop for my class. The invasive climate theory, dealing with how these providers deal with how providers from outside of our community deal with us.
Providers of what service?
Hold on. Let me go to my notes, man. I'm not trying to do this right now. Service providers. Any service provider outside of our community, I'm really talking about case workers, social workers, clinicians, psychologists, right? Anybody that you lost your kids and you got to deal with this lady, right? That's a service provider, right? Anybody outside of our community that you have to deal with that belongs to an organization, right? You can fill that survey out.
Yeah, we still gonna have to talk about it. So I'll chop it up with you so we can push it.
All right.
We'll chop it up so I can push it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well, you know, anybody else got any questions? Inbox me. You want my number? You want to talk about it before you fill it out? 504-628-066.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
I will. Thank you all again.
Peace
Have
out.
a good night.
Peace out.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Holler at that brother, man. See we always want to support our own, right? Like, so we'll see. I didn't even see that on my time. I know he sent me the survey, but I didn't. I was like, what is this? You know, if somebody send you some shit, you'd be like, what is this? But yeah, man. So we were talking about the brat. And this ain't even about the gay part of it. Like, to be honest with you, this is not the like, anti-gay or whatever. I just thought the fact that she made a statement specifically about the child being black and how basically the child would be less desirable if it was by some black sperm donor who she said looked like Jiminy Cricket, which I also don't understand. Like, how old are you really? Because I haven't even heard Jiminy Cricket in like so long. You got to be know what the fuck that is.
How old are you really?
Right. Like, what the fuck? You older than 50. He said we
Oh,
need to
y'all went
bring.
on a date with a dude, and I'm more than positive he was like 55. He had to be like 55. That's how old.
Okay. Did he have on some slick bottom shoes, like some dress shoes?
No, he had on his Omega Sci-Fi stuff. He was actually real tall and quite handsome and dressed very nice. But you know, you got to
Okay.
talk about graduating college in like 90 something. I'm like, you know, you get the count like, oh, you got to be like 55. You kind of
Damn.
old. That's
As long as he can give you no pocket out his, candy out his pocket with no wrapper on it. If he'd offered you some candy and then didn't have no wrapper on it out his pocket, I'd have said you shouldn't have ate that, Courtney. It's a joke.
gosh.
Well, who made that joke? Who made that joke? Was that Mike Epps? Like the old men have change in their pocket in the club trying to talk to young girls and candy in the other pocket with no wrapper on it. Dion says we need to bring lynching back, huh? Like
We
what?
done talking to Dion ass because he just
Like I mean, well, I don't, Dion. Let's let me know what you. I will bring lynching back for who, how, why, when, where. I mean, lynching. What are we talking about? So we Old Testament tonight. Old Testament. I love when people quote the Bible and they don't know whether or not they saying something from the Old or the New Testament, and they act like they profound when they say it. And I be like, well, actually, there's a whole New Testament. I don't take time to explain it to them. I'm like, all right, go on about your business. He said that's Hollywood for you, Kamar. That was Shabaka. Sharon Evans is agreeing with Rail. Sean Moore said, people question the existence of God if you state what's in the Bible regarding the verse speaking of the abomination. And that's a whole other thing. Like this what I was talking about with the brat wasn't even about gay or straight. Because I don't look at the world through gay or straight glasses. I look at, I look at race, honestly. I'm more I look at the world more through racial glasses than I do racial lenses than I do whether or not they straight or gay. Because I don't think gay is a race. Right? I think it's something different. So I wasn't even gonna talk about whether being gay is wrong or right. I just thought like something that's mixed up and confused in the first place becomes even more of a quagmire because we said here's a 50-year-old lady who's always dressed like a little girl, but at the same time a little boy, but she wants to be a man in a relationship with a woman, so she gets pregnant by the woman and a white man. It's a whole bunch of you see what I'm saying? Like I'm lost. I don't
want to sit down and talk about it with her. Like, hey, so look, you got to say it to her like that, and then start breaking down each layer. Like, okay, so let's start from the top. So
right. Who are you? Right? Like, who the fuck are you?
Or maybe start from the bottom. Like, all right, so what makes you?
Ain't she rich? She can take care of it, and she doing her thing.
I don't know. I know she's still.
She's been want to wear these bobos in your head. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Does she still? Does she still wear them?
Well, I think she's more for the show, for her reality show. I think they've made her more effeminate. But I think because I don't know, because I've never watched it.
Oh, so they got a show out.
Yeah, they have a reality show. Her and her wife. When she got married to her wife, they got a show, and getting pregnant was a storyline on the show. So I don't, and I've never really watched it, so I don't know. I'm assuming that in their relationship, she plays maybe the masculine role. Would one of them be considered the male? Like I don't know. They call him a bottom.
I don't know. Maybe they both call each other wives. I don't know.
Hey, right, Kim, what you say? Do they call him the bottom?
The bottom. I was like, I think that's what
Yeah, no, I mean, but I don't know because when you say something and you assume it, then they be like, no, that ain't what this is, type shit. So I'm just like, well, I don't know. You got to educate me on it. I don't know who plays what role. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Would she be considered the husband or? Well, I know she's the wife, but is it like she does the things that the man's supposed? So she be outside cutting the grass, or is like I say, people say there's no gender roles. Like so, that's the whole world we live in, and I'll be like, well, when it's hot and shit, my wife ain't never grabbed the lawnmower and be like, you good, I got this. So you looking at me like, you need to cut this grass, right? Like I be feeling like that's because I'm a dude and shit. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. Let me see. Oh God. I get so confused with every time I watch TV, this shit happens. I end up saying, well, what the fuck was that? I be watching this show called All American Homecoming. And it's because I usually try to support any black show, right? And I know now they always have to throw a gay character in, but on this show, it's about some Gen Y college students who are at a HBCU. But there's a dude who has a goatee, but everything else is like a woman. Like he's dressed like a woman. He has women hairdos, but he has a whole goatee. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Am I not? Even if he was a woman, I would say, girl, why you got that goatee? It's very distracting. So I don't understand how gay men would look at him and say, ooh, he fine, because I don't know. Do they look at him and say, ooh, he got a nice goatee, but everything else is a woman? I don't know. I'm confused by today's society. I don't like that's a nice skirt, and then you lined up tight. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be a lot of. I've seen a lot of that in the world. You know, a couple years ago when it started happening, I was still working in these warehouses, and there would be niggas coming in just with a wig on. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so we got the whole guy thing going on, but with you, and maybe sometimes a little girl outfit with the wig, but you still a guy. It was like, okay, and then you start seeing it more and more in the world. Sometimes when I pick people up, you know, they got the whole thing going on, but still the goatee.
Right. It's like they get in, you say, you Tina? Yeah, I'm Tina.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh shit, where you going?
Oh no, it'd be.
I left some water back there for you, Tina. Shit. Oh, thank you. They're so confused. Sharon Evans said to Brad, they so confused and weird. I don't know, maybe because I'm old and I'm being told right now that my way of thinking is kind of outdated. So I'm saying, am I the only one who says this is weird?
Dog, you don't start believing that shit, kid.
Well, I believe it's normal.
Don't start believing the way you thinking is weird, man. That's what they want you to think.
Okay.
They're wearing you down.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm
working on you, kid. They working, man.
Because I'm like,
how ain't brothers stay strong?
I'm like, how is nobody else saying nothing about this? Right? Like I can't be the only one. And nobody, not even other celebrities now would say, well, I heard some more talking about it, but she was more approaching it from the perspective that Brad is old. So she ain't finna become a mother, she finna become a grandmother. This bitch 50 plus. And so I'm like, okay, but you know, I mean, y'all let me know how y'all feel. 262-202-5131.
How old is her lady?
I don't know. And I guess this is why maybe I shouldn't speak on it, because I don't watch the show. I don't watch Ricky Smiley. I don't watch the Brad on Ricky Smiley. I'm to be honest with you, as a hip hop snob, I'm not really that big a fan of her music. I always thought she was a Snoop knockoff. You said she's 49?
Brad is 49 and her bride is 41.
Oh, okay.
Her bride already got 3 children. So she could have had.
Wait, the wife already wait, hold on. The wife already has 3 children?
Yeah.
She might as well have just had another one.
Exactly, man.
Maybe the Brad just
now you got me more confused. What you say, Real?
I said maybe the Brad just wanted to experience motherhood. You know, she's okay with being a lesbian, but because she's a lesbian, you know, she ain't gonna get pregnant naturally, you know. So maybe this is her way of experiencing motherhood in a way that's
crazy
for her lifestyle.
Though, right? She want to be a boy, but she want to experience motherhood. Right, that's fucked up, man.
Man, it's so many now. It's so like I mean,
I get it, man, but that's just
with the gender lines being blurred. They got whole campaigns talking about women ain't the only ones who got periods now, and you see motherfuckers with facial hair with bloody draws and shit. Like they pushing all this shit. So now they just really blurring
But you know how,
you know, women ain't the only ones that can have babies now. You know, they saying all that shit.
I wonder how many people she done told she was born she should have been a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then now she's talking about now she want to experience motherhood. But so really, how real was that conviction or your whole life?
Well, hold on. I don't think she connects motherhood with femininity. Wait, right. I don't know.
I don't know.
Why would you want to have a baby if you figure you should have been a boy? Why would you want to have a baby?
She might just be a woman who feels she's a woman.
Want a child, but why have a baby?
I don't. Courtney, what was you about to say? Because I know
I
Courtney got him pulled up.
it say that she doesn't feel comfortable being called a stepmom. So if you don't feel comfortable being called a stepmom, will you be comfortable being called mom?
Dad. Should have been dad.
Right. So it's
Yes,
gonna be dad when the
maybe
baby born. I wonder what we
maybe
doing.
she just have a
I
problem
wanted
with
to
the
say,
stepmom.
I wanted to say, I was never a fan of her music because I always thought she was a knockoff Snoop, and I never really, I don't. And once again, I might be the only person. I always thought
I like
Jermaine
her and
Dupri.
JD together.
I
Like I
always
like how
thought
they
Jermaine
bounce back
Dupri
and
was
forth.
lame. I always thought Jermaine Dupri was lame because he always was messing with little
Damn.
kids, right? Like we didn't take him serious back in the days, right? Like nobody pulled up bumping Crisscross. Like, oh dog, I got that new Crisscross. Even though Crisscross had a couple songs that I did like on their later
Man,
music.
shit, when they came back out with Tonight's the Night and Live and Die for
That
hip-hop,
was better. That was better.
man,
But I still just
shit,
thought he was. I
I
didn't think
still
he
play
was.
that.
I thought he was corny. I always thought he was cornball. So I never. So with her, the first album she made, but she was imitating Snoop, and that kind of once that kind of wore off, I was like, well, you know, because she was Big Baby and all this. That was what Snoop and them and Big Mike and they was saying they rap a lot, Big Baby and all this and all. You had to be if you. All that stuff came from Snoop, and Snoop and them got it from Big Mike, who we had on the show, OG Big Mike and 3-2 from Rap A Lot Records. Was supposed to be on Death Row. So Snoop and them took that. We don't love them hoes and all that. They took that from Big Mike and them. And then that's what she was doing on her record. So so if you look at Atlanta, even back then, the differences between the Dungeon Family and Outkast music versus JD and the Bratz music, it's not even comparable. You can't even put it side by side. It's not even, it don't even physically weigh as much. It's just like somebody just beatboxing as opposed to somebody playing a symphony orchestra. It's not even comparable. So yeah, she always stuck as a rapper to me. And then I said all that to say, it ain't got nothing to do with her being gay. It's just that she was lame. Go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, to me, they two different genres. Like when I look at Dungeon Family, I think of rappers, but like when I think of So Def, I just think of artists. Cause like when I remember like
Lil Bow Wow?
Like I just think of artists.
Lil Bow Wow wasn't even so deaf.
Because they didn't stick to like one genre. You know, like Jermaine Dupri remixed a whole lot of R&B shit. He did a So Def bass, like Miami bass. Well, not Miami bass, but he did like a So Def bass. You remember that My Boo song and shit?
Ghost Town DJs.
Yeah. Like, so he, like, to me, I never really considered them like rappers. They were just entertainers to me because they did everything.
Yeah.
It was lame. They had they had nobody on their label. Like, I mean, of course, yeah, they wasn't. You're right. It ain't the same thing because one is real hip hop and one ain't. Now, listen, I understand he's a great producer. I'm not trying to say he's not a great producer. His producer accolades are through the roof, especially with the work he's done in R&B. But I'm saying as a hip hop head, and so you got to understand when I talk about rap, especially 90s rap, I speak from the perspective of a hip hop head, right? What do we consider hip hop versus some shit that was just out?
That shit was.
I never considered Lil Bow Wow a rapper. I never considered him a real rapper. He's not even in my top 200. He's not in my top 1,000, right? And the Brad ain't even in. Come on, like I never, and he didn't even write his own rhymes. So if you a hip hop dude who say who's a Rakim or who's a Kane or who's a G-Rap or who, real hip hop, we don't even look at them as like that ain't in the conversation. That's like plaything. Like
so they're
that's
not
for
MCs to you. Like, cause rappers and MCs two different things though.
Right.
Like
they
maybe were rappers and not MCs. I don't know.
Yeah, it was garbage hip hop. We didn't listen to that. I'm just telling you I'm just telling you, being a teenager in the 90s who was knee deep in the culture, we didn't really rock that. We was rocking the harder shit. We was rocking we was UGK and West Side Connection and SIBO and E40 and 8 Ball and MJG. Nobody was saying, hey man, let me get that Crisscross CD. Like everybody in the car would have been like, man, don't play that shit, cuz.
Hey,
like,
Kev, but like, think about it though. Like Rail and Courtney, they was like in a little level under us in age. So like, you know what I mean? For them, like, it was a whole different story. We was too old for Crisscross by that point, by that time.
Well, even as a kid,
and Lil Bow Wow.
I didn't like Jump. I didn't like Miss the Bus. Like I didn't like Kid Crisscross, but like I said, when they came back out with that, sampling a lot of them old R&B hits and shit, that's when I
Trying to
started
sound like the West Coast. That was Jermaine Dupri trying to sound like everybody else. Right. And they got a song called To Live and Die for Hip Hop, which I think with the Stephanie Mills beat, that's a cold. And the one dude on there who had the coldest verse, never heard from him again. Right. And it was like, what happened to that nigga? That nigga was cold.
Tenactin.
Yeah.
Increase your brain
increase your brains with the Mac 10. Yeah, that dude, he was cold, man. He was cold.
He was.
It's not like I didn't listen. Let me see. Dion says the brat strapped like a motherfucker, though. I bet you she is.
She is,
strapped.
Man. She is
strapped being the key word.
Hey, I remember when I was locked up. That's when she was on the cover of that what magazine? Smooth magazine.
Yeah, Smooth. Oh man,
that's when she came out the closet in the bikini.
King magazine. Magazine.
Listen, the King magazine. Yeah. Man, let me tell you, man, that motherfucking magazine got passed around. That motherfucker.
You say that magazine had niggas in jail loving all over themselves.
Hey, I didn't have to. I sold mine, right? I had prescriptions coming in. I sold mine.
I like how brothers always make
fun to me, man. Like the brand was always cute to me.
Brothers always make themselves the hero. Like, man, I sold mine. I ain't never looked at that book. Right. I bet you he did. Right, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Right, he sold his.
I sold mine.
Los Angeles is its own planet. You know what? My good friend Westside Zeladon, who I haven't seen in a while, is from South Central Los Angeles. He's not that much younger than you, Shabaka. So I've sat and conversed with him a lot about LA in the 70s and 80s, because that's the time when he grew up. And from all he's told me, you're absolutely right. It's his own planet. And he would just, like, if you sit and talk with him about coming up and seeing the city change and go through the different stages, it's always I tell him all the time, like, bro, you should write a book. And he's like, he ain't got time for that type of shit. Man, fuck that shit, cuz. That's how he talk for real. He said, Sharon Evans said, definitely. The confusion is real. I just generated confusion. It's generated confusion. Sharon Evans said the brat's eggs are scrambled.
Damn.
Man, I don't know. Allegedly.
Man.
That's Sean Moore's number. It's in the chat room, y'all. If you got questions about his survey. She said the brat's 48 and 55. That's the last of the true cool. Who's 55?
He was cool as hell.
Oh, okay. Your 55-year-old, your boo. That's what's up. I mean, I don't, anybody who says, honestly, because you get older as a man, like you become, and that's the one thing they throw old men, boy, they throw us out the pasture quick. You ain't shit.
I feel that way though, because my mind get to thinking about sex, and I'm like, damn, I'm hate for this nigga to
yeah,
like,
I think, man, you might you're like a Jedi Knight in the bedroom, or you might just be overthinking it a little
bit. It's like you 5 years for 60. You better be 60. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if this even turned into a serious thing, you better be 60, sir. And I'm gonna just be hitting 40.
I don't know, man. I think you might be surprised by experience sometimes.
I don't know, but anything can happen by the time you get 60. Now your body just start breaking down. I guess I look at my mama at 65, and that shit look like it's a lot.
Just about how they take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at shit. Okay, he's 55. Like, how old is The Rock right now? Like, I don't know how. I think he in this like hitting 50, ain't he? Yeah, because I'll be 40 this year or shit this month. And shit, he probably in his 50s, but it's all about how you take care of yourself. Look at
that's it right there, real.
And I feel the same way as well as that, because dude take care of himself. So I mean, you never know.
I mean, look at Method Man. Method Man waited till he was 40 or some shit to become a sex symbol. Like not everybody love Method Man. I remember when they used to have a nappy head with the toothbrush.
Hey, but Rail, once again, though, Rail, you got to understand, you had to be there in the 90s, because I'm here to tell you this: the sisters loved Method Man then.
I mean, they
Like
did.
back
They
in the
did.
days, that's who they didn't care about none of females didn't care about
Right.
none of them other rappers. They liked Method Man. Like,
But
Method
he,
Man, who
he
is
was
the
just
other
always
dude?
himself. Like I respect the fact that he was always himself. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying now, like now that he like the power dude and shit like that, now he fit and shit. Like he probably closer
No,
to
this brother got a
52.
Grammy with Mary J. Blige in 1994. He been up
That,
there for a long time.
yeah,
So
that shit
he
still
been on
slap.
females' radar for a long time. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
saying. Don't get
yeah,
me
most
wrong. He
definitely.
old now and he lifting weights and women like, ooh
Right,
yeah. But yeah, nigga been
right,
Oh,
famous damn near 35 years.
what was this?
right. He been shit. He been
Um,
around a
he said
while.
for people like I don't know, Dion is finished and he said gay's about to be the majority. Are they?
Huh?
Are they?
What's wrong with Dion, man? He just be.
It's almost like it's a ethnic background or something.
Right.
I
Like
don't.
the Mexicans. The
Is
Mexicans
that
and the gays
possible?
taking over.
And I don't, and you know what? I don't even think gay people want to be a quote unquote majority. I think they want to be integrated into society so that it's a norm. I don't think they want to be the majority. To me, the thing I get from this is I think inside gay people think everybody's gay. Like to them, they feel like everybody is gay because
That's some bull.
gay men will tell you all the time how straight all these dudes who really say they're straight, they really want me. And I'm like, nah, that's not true, bro. I got years ago, I did one of the first when I first started podcasting. Like I said, we celebrate. We got a 10-year. I got a 10-year anniversary coming up because I've been doing this 9 years. But I had went. One of the first things I did was I went on Homer Blow's show, and I was on Blow Radio, right? And so I was just live in the studio. And there's transgenders there. Like it's like Jerry Springer for real. It's like, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to be insulting or disrespectful. There was a dude who had a full female dress, skirt, whatever, what have you, purse, hair, with a goatee and no teeth in his mouth. And he wanted to be referred to as she. And like, I'm like, what? Wait, what? I said all that to say there was a couple other butch lesbians there, but the transgender dude's whole thing was all you straight men secretly want me. And I'm like, no. I kept saying, like, nah, that's not true, bro. You can't keep saying, because he's like, yeah, and they all want me. And when soon as somebody turn their back, and I'm like, nah, because I tried to explain. I said, well, see, that's the thing. You keep saying that those brothers are straight brothers who want you. What they are gay men who want you, because a straight man doesn't want you. Yeah, ain't no such thing. And so I think gay people think everybody else is gay, but they just hiding it. So I just feel like they want us all to come out, right? Like, and so I don't know. That's
I
just
mean, I think the lifestyle you choose can dictate your perception of things. Like I think, like I know women who chose the stripper life, and they have a certain perspective of men based off of the men they interact in their place of business. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all these men cheats, they out here in my face, they got a wife at home, to the point where a lot of them get to fucking with each other because they so disgusted at how men act based upon the people they come across. So I think it's just the circle. Like to dude, shit, the people he came across might have been a lot of down low dudes who felt that technically they weren't down low because he was dressed like a girl. I don't know, but they rationalized it some kind of way.
it sounds like confusion breeds confusion to me, honestly. She said Sharon Evans said they both over the top. They both wore wedding dresses. Like Uncle Clifford on P Valley. I've never seen P Valley, so I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
He got he be having like women, like he wear women, like what you was talking about. It used to be a cat I used to see working at one of these Walmarts or whatever. Used to have a perm with the beard, but that's how that Uncle Clifford dude looked, like perm, the busting ass rap, but then a goatee. I'm used to Prince looking like that though.
Mama Jenkins said, "Come on, KB, the shit is." I know, Mama Jenkins. I'm just because I keep looking at stuff and I saying, "Wait, like the world tells me I shouldn't feel the way I feel, right? Like, so when I see something like the brat, or when I see a lot of different shit that we see in our society, I say, damn, that's some weird shit. Like, that's strange. But the society is saying, no, you can't look at it like it's strange. You have to be open and accepting of any and everybody. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that. Sharon Evans said the wife looked older than the brat. The wife has had medical issues, so she couldn't carry the baby this time. Okay. They putting us up on it. I shout out to the Outlaw family. Homosexuality has been in Hollywood for years. Shit, I didn't know Whitney and Clive Davis was gay. Untouchable community was always been the main community that was participating in the activities. He put that shit in capital letters, right?
I seen a YouTube pop up the other day saying, I guess Jamie Foxx issue they were saying. They were saying something about Diddy, like he was out in
Yeah,
business.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, okay, hold on, real. Give me a second, cause I got some. Look. Check this out. Shots fired, right? Tiarsha Arthur just fired shots at the brothers, right? Let me make sure my audio is straight for this. Let me make sure. Okay. We straight. Tiarsha says men have always had that time of the month. You mofos be tripping at least 2-3 times a month. So men have that time of the month. I don't have that time of the month. Tiarsha. And normally a man is tripping when his woman start tripping. I'm gonna put that out there like that. I'm tripping because you tripping. Why you acting crazy? Because you acting crazy. That's why I'm doing.
Or like y'all get upset when we do something. Maybe we just getting upset. I mean, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody on the. That's foul, man.
All right, those shots fired, man. She took a shot at us, man.
Just foul.
You know what? And I believe most women would probably be sitting back like, she ain't lying. These motherfuckers be tripping. I ain't seen a man yet who usually ain't tripping off of something his woman did. If he has a woman, that's usually the biggest thing in his life. It kind of dictates everything. So how many of your homeboys who got a woman, when you talk to him and he down, you say, what's wrong? Man, I'm trying to deal with this woman, man. Man, this girl tripping like a motherfucker, man. Got him all fucked up. Man, I ain't saying nothing. We ain't spoken in 2 weeks, man. He ain't been eating right. His clothes wrinkled and shit.
Bad.
She done cut him off. So, you damn right he tripping now. Now he's upset. And you say, what's wrong with you? What the fuck you mean what's wrong with me? You driving me crazy. Let me see. Sharon Evans said, So Deaf was anthems and popcorn rap. There we go. I like that. Popcorn rap. That's what I would refer to most of his hip hop stuff for, is popcorn rap. Except for, like I said, I agree with you on that second Crisscross album. I never really took the brat serious after her first album. Never really took her serious in terms of rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, whatever. Sharon Evans, Courtney, stop it. She said, Tiarsha said, don't sleep on the older guys, Miss Courtney. Method was always sexy. I told you. She said Method Man was always sexy. Tiarsha said, I love Ice Cube. Sharon Evans said he just distinguished now.
I'm looking into it, man. We gonna see what, it's cool. He been chasing me for like a year. I done stood this nigga up so many times and just went to sleep, not popped up, just text next day on my bad, closed off.
He just hanging in there to hit you with the whammy, and then once he hit you and had you hooked, he about to start.
Damn.
He about to start giving you the cold shoulder.
Damn.
Dion said he loved him some older women.
Yeah, man, they so fine. I mean, they're just women, just beautiful.
He said it's a lot of women in their 50s, and I'll run them all.
We
Hey,
know.
run them. I don't think Luther is gay. Dion said, Luther? What Luther are you talking about? I know you ain't talking about Luther Vandross. Come on now.
And I think on Power, right?
Okay. Or was this, what's the Uncle Luther? No, who's the P Valley dude?
That was Uncle Clifford.
Okay. So I get them mixed up. Ace Cooley said men only trip when they woman acting up or his money ain't right. Now, if his money ain't right, I can see him being very moody. Because when my shit ain't flowing, I am a little funny. Because I just want to be alone and try to figure some shit out. Like, man, I gotta get this goddamn. It's that kind of thing. But Yeah, I mean, I think we all have issues. I don't think you can compare it to a woman's kind of situation because, Lord have mercy. Yeah, that put you through it. As far as older, I think you learn as you get older how to be. Hopefully, there's a maturation process, so you learn how to be a better man. So if you're still single or you dating in your 50s, I think you should be the smoothest. Like you should know how to, man. I got
And
my
he was too. Let me
my
tell y'all, he was
situation right.
motherfucking smooth now. He
Yeah,
was.
see, you should be. If you 55, you supposed to know a trick or two.
Yeah.
But see, the one thing I wouldn't do, and thank God I don't have to go through this. I wouldn't, even as an older man, I would never let a young woman drag me, right? Like, cause I would
Right.
check this out. If I hit you up, right, and you say, yeah, we're gonna hook up or whatever, and I'm 55, you looking at me like his old ass, I'm not gonna keep calling you. You stand me up once, I'm not calling you no more, right? Like it's not
Man.
like I'm not gonna be old and thirsty. I'll be like, what's
And
up,
I'm
desperate.
miss?
saying though,
Old
but they
and
always
desperate.
come back around. Like I got this thing for like standing up and ghosting dudes, and they always gonna swerve to block them. And someone might even ask, "Man, why you ghost me the first time?" I mean, it's me. I shouldn't feel like that, but
They
shit,
gonna put
at
up
this
with the
point,
bullshit to hit you with the whammy and get that power
that's
shift.
what all they want. But in real, it's crazy. That's exactly how I feel. So
And
we never
power
get to that
shift, and
point
then
because I
once
know like these
you
niggas just want a motherfucking hit and they gonna leave me
All
alone.
right, then.
Right. Now,
here
why,
she
now, why
go
you go? Now you
calling
talking about
me.
why you ghost me? He like,
Right.
oh,
Look, got me
Right.
calling
I'm
they
busy.
phone.
I'm busy. His ass taking a nap. He's somewhere tired. Shit. He'll
Said
wake
I've
up
been
and look at the
texting you
phone like,
all
oh,
week. Where you been at?
she
Right.
out the
You
roti.
know, it's oh, okay. This is how she wanna do. All right,
Right.
let me get this motherfucker to
Ain't
love
no
me.
ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Um, Luther Vandross, he said, I thought Luther was I thought it was acknowledged that Luther was gay. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Did I miss something here? I thought that was the whole thing. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Read up on Luther. Um, Sharon Evans said, I saw the doc on the Gandhi dancers, and the one brother said that when the boss came in cracking the whip, they would make up songs about him needing some loving from his woman to calm him down. Who are the Gandhi dancers? That's something I would certainly like to know. I seen it. There was another thing too that I want to talk about tonight. Amongst there's so much going on, man. Like you'd be hard pressed to be able to cover everything in a short span of time, and we do our best to do so. But I was reading this article that I put in the group, and this is something that we talked about too. Um, we talked about Monique's comedy special a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the whole thing with who's funny and who, what was funny. And there's Lawrence Ross, I think, wrote this article in the Huffington Post. I put it in the People's News Network, and I heard Lawrence Ross speak. He came to Stretch during one of our doctoral seminars. I thought he was a pretty smart brother. Wrote a couple books. He said that Gen X comedy is dead. The joke is over because the comedy is not funny anymore. And he stated this because he said Chris Rock's special wasn't funny. And he said Marlon Wayans wasn't funny. He said Monique's wasn't funny. And he said that brand of comedy, that Gen X comedy, is dead. The joke is up. It's no longer funny. And so I thought about this and I said, well, I feel like that the Gen X comedy has grown up and evolved because this is the comedy that started with the Def Comedy Jam era, where everything was really blue. Everything was about, fuck this and fuck that and all this and that. But if you can get to a level now where you can go see a Dave Chappelle show and he can put you up on some shit and have you dying laughing at the same time and put the social commentary in there, that's an innovation that didn't exist before. And I don't think that has an expiration date. I thought Chris Rock's special was very funny and very well executed, but I thought it was cerebral comedy. I think Kamar made that point on the show is like, he said, I just felt like some people just wasn't smart enough to understand it, so they didn't think it was funny. Monique, we said we didn't think was funny because she leaned on the profanity staple of Gen X comedy, right? She
Right.
leaned on that. And we said, well, it's just excessive. And it
Yeah.
wasn't funny at all. So by him saying that it's dead and all this kind of thing, and I'm like, so where are we at now? Is the Instagram comics, the social media, the internet comics are the standard now? I don't think they are, because when you get a lot of them on stage or away from a script, they're not funny. The name of being a comedian is being fucking funny. So I would just disagree with him, and I said, man, I feel like he came at. I think he's a Gen Xer as well. That article is in the People's News
Is
Network.
it a white guy?
No, he's black.
Hmm.
His brother who was just very, very racially aware, because I believe his book was about some discrimination on college campuses. I believe that's what his book was.
Oh, speaking of college campuses, everybody, y'all.
Tell
I
us
got
about
to UWM, you know what I'm saying, for the psychology program, just in case y'all didn't know.
it.
Yeah, so I will be your favorite local therapist very soon. Know that.
Yeah, you with the way Milwaukee is going, you'll never run out of work. These
Never.
motherfuckers here crazy.
I'm like a motherfucker.
He said, Tiasha said Chris Rock's special was super funny. Congratulations to the Juice Lady. Absolutely. Education is a beautiful thing. And trust me, it's a beautiful thing.
I'm be out here saying big words like Kev and shit, because I'm be writing papers and shit. I'll be saying all types of shit. Just wait till the fall. Just wait till the fall.
Indubitably, right?
All types of shit.
She's a gentleman and a scholar. Yeah. Them words be on layaway. That's why I still use them, because I still owe government loans. So I say them words on layaway. I still use them motherfuckers. Yeah, Chris Rock was funny though. I thought it was funny, and I thought even the shit he said that wasn't about Will was funny. The shit he said about his daughter biting somebody, like and like doing crazy shit and being punished, and all, like his realization about who his kids were and this kind of thing. Like, I thought this shit was funny. Dion said, I went to Detroit to see the Royal Comedy Tour and it was funny as hell. Yeah, I think it's still a lot there. I think a lot of the comedians who were at the forefront of it are obviously older now. Like, because I'm going to be honest, I love Samore. I watched Samore's special, and it wasn't as funny as some of her older stuff. And I was just kind of like, it was still funny, but Samore is, to me, one of the upper echelon black comics of that generation. But they are getting older. And some of them, may not have the punch that they used to have. But I don't think Gen X comedy is dead. I think that style will live on. Because I think pretty soon there'll be a new generation of comics that'll come along and adapt that. It's just like they adapted what Richard Pryor and Red Fox and all those brothers had done and kind of built their own kind of steam. So, sometimes I know people just write shit just to be, just to be writing shit. Say it's a talk show. You got to be talking about some shit. But I don't think Gen X comedy is dead. What y'all think about that?
No, I don't think so either. You know what I mean? Because this same comedy is the same comedy we black folks been having for years.
Right. It's nothing new under the sun, right?
Right.
Speaking of comedy, if y'all remember Ken Black was on the show? Oh man, he decided to get on Frank Nitti. Oh my gosh, man.
Again?
Yeah, because Frank Nitti, if you didn't know, Frank Nitti made a video. I shared it in the People's News Network. And I normally don't get involved in a lot of this shit because it doesn't have shit to do with the price of tea in China as far as I'm concerned. But I seen Frank Nitti had made this video in which he stated that since he left Milwaukee, crime is up, domestic violence is up, the reckless driving is up. He said, look how much worse the city. This is what he said. Look how much worse the city is than it was when I was out there activisming. I don't know that activisming is an official word now. Okay, so
this nigga.
I've plenty of times I've had opportunities for people to come on the show. Like, people have reached out to me and they want to come on and talk about the whole Frank Nitti ordeal with his march and the accusations that have been weighed and this kind of thing. And I always said, listen, I won't allow my platform to be utilized as your personal kind of like bully pulpit. If you have some legal things that he's done, then we could talk about that. If he's violated you in any way, I'm with that. I'm not going to do gossip. Right. And so I never really got involved in that. But he makes this video and he says that since he left, the city's worse. And he said, y'all wonder why I left. And he said, Milwaukee can suck my dick. That's what he said. And he said,
I told you, man, let's have the motherfuckers on here to air his ass out.
Well, hold on. So check this out. He goes on to say that all of the activists here are compromised and they are, they take money. They all in it for the money, and they've taken money to do what they do. He called some people out, and see, my thing is, Kamar. Number one, I did invite him on when people were making those accusations. I did say, "Hey, brother, come on," He never responded. That's neither here nor there. Because Vaughn has been, a lot of people have been on here, but Vaughn is the one who
we should have let
responded.
all the other motherfuckers on that wanted to come air him out.
So, well, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but I mean, I don't take that personal when he says Milwaukee sucked my dick. Like, I never thought of him as a crime fighter.
Me
I didn't
either.
know he was fighting crime.
I just knew he wasn't genuine. Remember,
Okay.
I used to say that back then. I just don't think he's genuine.
I didn't know he was a crime fighter. I really did. I didn't know.
And then that too.
Right. So Vaughn Mays got in and really just launched one of them 2-hour tirades that Vaughn does and really just let him have it. And then Ken Black did a thing where he put on the braids and went in. I didn't post Ken Black yet, the comedian, the roast king. I didn't post his about Frank yet because I want Ken to come back on the show. But like I was thinking about, like, I don't know that any individual can raise his or her hand and say, I'm the only reason this city hasn't gone over the edge in the last 10, 12 years, because the city really has gone over the edge with or without any individual. And I don't knock what anybody does in terms of activity, but I don't think it's anybody who can take credit and say, I am single-handedly a person who has changed the direction of Milwaukee in the last 13 years. But all his shit was
before COVID, correct?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, because we didn't get Kia Boys till after COVID. Shit changed after COVID. This nigga did shit before COVID. It'd be different if nigga you was out here after COVID and shit was okay, and then it changed. No,
but he wasn't doing nothing to stop no crime, no more.
Exactly.
He wasn't doing nothing but walking around.
He just did walks. You know, had that little DJ party in front of the fucking police station. He
ain't do shit. But walking around.
Right. He was doing, walking around, talking on the megaphone.
Right. He ain't do nothing.
Oh man. Dion said, he said, talk about them trash ass Bucks. I'm gonna talk about them, but in a different perspective. I had that kind of pin to be my last outro. He said, AKB, didn't Frank Nitty take $1 million and run? Man, there was so many accusations on all. Once again, I've been so focused on myself and what's good for me and mine that I don't know the particulars. There's some accusations made about some Cash App money. There's some accusations made about some sexual, unwanted sexual advances. Some people who got screwed over. There's been a million narratives spelled out about him. Like I said, unless it was something that was legal, once it became legal, because Kamar, if you remember, we didn't even really discuss his accusations until there was actually charges made. Remember, once the charges was made about his sexual assault, then we said, okay, now let's talk about this on the show. Because I just, I don't do gossip, and I usually keep my mouth and my hands out of another man's business. Like, I don't get, that's your shit. If you got accusations that's being made, that's why we love the word allegedly on the show, right? So I guess there was an accusation that he took some money, but I guess he's in Atlanta now and he's doing a business or something, but he was in a club getting drunk or drinking, and he was stating that, Milwaukee, fuck y'all, because he said we turned our back on him, and that that's why the city is worse since he's left. And, he said the people who are up here now ain't even activisming right because they taking money. They all getting grants. They all about the bread and all this kind of stuff. And I just said, whoa. And it's not a big deal, but I just seen it. And then I put it in the People's News Network because I felt like for you to say, hey, man, y'all, hey, suck my dick. Right. First of all, man to man, that's like the most uncool shit you can say to another man, right? Like, that is below disrespectful for you to say that to another man, to invite him to your private parts. And the code in the neighborhood that I grew up in was when you said that to somebody, you better be ready to fight. You better have your hands up because you probably about to get touched, and not in a good brat way. You about to get touched like bong bong. And so when he said that, I said, whoa, that's a little strong because there's people here who don't even have an opinion about you one way or another. And most of us really don't think you were fighting crime. Like, nobody ever looked at you as a crime fighter. We thought, okay, here's a brother who wants to bring attention to what's going on in the city and try to bring people together for some change. I never said, he's stopping robbery in the city. Because I can't think of one thing that you did that's fought crime. I don't know, but so it's just weird to see. And I said, man, that takes a lot of guts to say. That's why the city is worse now because I left. Because I'm not on Facebook going live no more. Because I'm not, I stopped
Right.
asking y'all to donate to
I
my
ain't walking around.
right. I walked to DC for y'all, right? Like I walked all the way to DC for y'all. Like it's crazy. Yeah, man. It's just one of the things that I seen. I don't normally get involved, but if that brother wanted to come on here right now and say, hey man, I'd like to come on and talk about some of the stuff, I'd let him have his say. Because I know the people out there would do all of the talking that right. I wouldn't have to say nothing. I'm sure the phone line would light up. Tiarsa said it came out he had never gotten $1 million. The lady that said that was caught on a live admitting she lied about it.
I thought it
Dang.
was like 10,000. No, I didn't think it was 1 million. I thought it was like 10 G's or 20 G's or something simple.
Right.
You never know. Like nobody would ever know except for him or
Mhm.
somebody who was close. If somebody else did his books, and
But I don't think nobody did his books. I think the nigga was receiving cash apps because he always had it posted and he dipped out with that shit. He ain't share it. He dipped.
okay.
They cash app me, nigga, just like it's KB up there. That's my money, niggas, not the Outlaws. It was like that.
Yeah, but the thing that about that would be is a great portion of what anybody would put in that cash app goes to paying for the show to actually be conducted.
No, see,
Like,
but I'm just saying,
oh, okay. I thought you was I thought you was using me. I was about to say no.
Oh,
No,
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 Kev,
no.
you would, yeah.
No.
You
I
wouldn't do
didn't.
it like that, would you, Kev?
I mean, depending on how much it was. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. My overhead investment into what we do, I don't even think I could ever break even because it's like I said, it's been 9 years. It ain't been exactly the most profitable thing. Been some times when some money came through, but usually it was for something that I had already paid for. So, if somebody want to write a check so that I can start, spreading the wealth with my co-host, feel free. Hit that cash up with a boss donation tonight. I split it down the middle. Like Baby Drew say, we split it down the middle. Separate the lane from the fakers. So, Ruben Anderson, how you doing, my brother? We ain't on nothing tonight, live from the basement. Dion said he ran off on the plug. I don't know. I just know it's crazy that he thought that he, was the reason why crime was, because crime was bad before. People always say after the pandemic. Wasn't crime high before the pandemic too? Like I'm like,
It was
Yeah.
high, but I guess it got just
It
a
was
little
fucked
wild,
up.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's any worse.
Well, I
I'm
feel
just
like the Kia Boys just the wild driving got added to it, and that shit just seems like that shit is killing a lot of motherfucking people. We didn't have it that bad. Now that shit is just out of control.
yeah, but reckless driving, the high speeds was before the pandemic. They was going on the high speed chases before the pandemic, tearing shit up. So I keep hearing people blame the pandemic, and I get why they're saying it.
I don't blame it. It just felt like after a lot of shit just erupted. I don't blame it though. I see a lot of people do blame it. I don't blame it, but it just feel like after, man, like shit just exploded.
I don't know. I guess we'd have to look into it. I hope y'all paying attention to this cat who just quit Google and is talking about this artificial intelligence that they're trying to put up and the dangers of it. I'm not the tinfoil hat man, but I have a mistrust of a lot of our connection to the electronic grid myself. And I try to, my phone is bad enough. This phone is bad enough for me. And like, so now we have in my house, and I don't know when my wife decided to do this, but we have like Alexa, right? And like, yeah, so it's like you could say Alexa, so and so and so, and she pop off. And I asked her, like, hey, yo, are you not worried about this? And she's like, nah, because the way it's set up is, but it's just weird. I'm an old man, I understand, but just like I'm a little paranoid about.
Hey, I got Alexa down here in the lab with me, right? And I be talking shit upstairs. I'm going downstairs with Alexa. She listens to a nigga. She do exactly what I tell her to do. I'm going down.
Sharon Evans said, when I hit the lotto, I got you, Outlaws. Well, you know what? Shout out to Eddie Silvers, right? From Wisconsin Firearms. I hung out with Eddie all day on Saturday, man, in the Wisconsin Firearms shop, a gun shop, and it was fun, man. I had a great time.
Man, I got a he just posted one like 565 that I was like, man, shoot me the link to that so I can catch that one.
I had a great time, and if you like guns, you'd have had a great time too. We kicked it. I didn't intend to stay that long. I almost closed it down with him. But we're trying to plan our live from Wisconsin Firearms.
Okay.
Which is going to happen because we're going to do this show. And so through that, I met some dope people. Shout out to the Barcode podcast and that brother, brilliant with a camera. There's some connections to be made. So we're not even necessarily worried about donations yet. Wait till I finish with this fly shit.
Look
right?
at you getting out in the world, Kev. Look at you. Making connections and shit. Hey.
Right. Man, if only she knew, Kamar, right? Like I'm Luke Skywalker. I went off into seclusion. I actually was out there on the front lines for a very long time. People just like when I see something like perfect example, when I see something like what Frank Nitti just did, some of that kind of behavior, and it wasn't just him who was like behaving like this, it was other people as well. That's what made me walk away from all of that shit. Because I'm like, that is clown shit right there. Right. And so I just walked off from it. I felt like you are who you associate yourself with. And I didn't want to be looked at or even be around for the bullshit. Or as we say in my neighborhood, the fuckery. Tiarsha said he paid for all their rooms, food, and gas. Bottom line, they shouldn't have went on that trip broke and depended on him. That's absolutely true.
True.
That is absolutely true as well.
True. You can put yourself. Hey, I'll tell you, every grown motherfucker know that. Don't take your ass out of town. You ain't got no money.
Yeah.
Right. With somebody who ain't your family.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Man.
Right.
And I ain't sent, and that ain't no shot at nobody who went. You know what I mean? I get it. I'm with you for the cause. But you know what I mean? Don't go out of town expecting somebody to have you.
Because I ain't y'all people like that. Y'all be coordinating.
Well, the thing is I think people were saying they're looking at, because they looking at the same lives, and they're looking at people donating to him, but they're struggling on the road. Saying, wait a minute, you getting bread. I'm out here with you. You supposed to be taking care of us with that money. Like I found out, or I heard that allegedly he's staying in like the nicest hotel rooms and they basically squatting. So I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I heard too.
It was a lot that went on. I'd have to maybe now, Kamar, you just gave me an idea. Maybe now we can talk about what actually happened. Maybe we could bring somebody who was there who could talk about it now. I'd be willing to, hear it out. Back then I just didn't want to be. I do my best not to compromise our platform, and I never wanted this platform to be like diluted by shit like that. Like, because that's not something we do. I don't consider that masculine. Right, all that back and forth, jibber jabbing, jibber jawing on Facebook. That's an old ass man word, ain't it? Jibber jabbing, jibber jawing. You know I'm old when I say that. Like, damn, how old is this nigga? Right? She said, "What did you give Sharon? You said you gave yours to your nephew, but thanks." Are you talking about your t-shirt? Let me see. Is that what she's talking about? Some apparel? What happened to the young activist that robbed the drug dealers out of state? Brother Khalil is locked up. He's locked up. That's what I'm saying. Like, for him to say that it's because he left, I think it's because that whole movement kind of took a step back in terms of the protesting. Because when I was listening at Vaughn's thing, he was saying they still out here working, but the protests have gone away. And once again, I don't know because I'm not out here with them. I can't criticize nobody.
What does working out in the community look like to people when they like, man, motherfuckers ain't doing nothing, motherfucker? Well, what are y'all expecting to see? What do you want to see when you say that? What does motherfuckers working out in the community look like to you? I mean, what you think you're just gonna see motherfuckers walking around on the street, you know what I'm saying, snatching up youth? Hey man, come here, let me talk to you. I mean, what the fuck do y'all want to see?
Yes. There's a lot that goes on with different organizations in the city, y'all, that we don't participate in. We don't even hook our trailer up. And Kamar and myself used to always say, we'll work with anybody, but we don't rock with everybody. So a lot of things we just have not lended we just haven't hooked up to it. And there are people who are at all of those events. There are people who go, and Courtney, you and Kamar know that just from even going to the Sherman Phoenix. y'all see people doing things all the time that would be considered work in the community.
Yeah.
But I think the focus that we kind of turn towards, and I know Kamar kind of turned towards, is like, yeah, I want to work in the community, but I'm looking for economic empowerment. I'm looking for, the intricate details about how we can better our community, not really about holding a sign or walking back and forth chanting or, something like that. Because there's different roles, there's different ways to get it done. So it's more. I'm a person who believes more so in the economic development part of it too. I feel like you got to get some bread. Like if you don't get no bread, it is what it is. You end up in a hotel waiting on Frank Nitty to pay for your room, right? And you know what you gotta do, something strange for a piece of change, right? So I think, hey man, you want some Subway or not, right? You want you want a meatball sandwich or not? Like what you want to do? I show with like some of them chips. Well, you know what you got to do, right? Like you know what you got to do. And you want sour cream and onion? Come on now, lock that
Oh my
door.
gosh,
I'm
kid.
just saying. Allegedly, that's the way it was. I don't know. Sandwiches for sex. I don't know. But I thought Ken Black,
Sex sandwiches.
his whole parody of it was so funny because he said we're gonna have a cocaine kickball game at Atkinson Park on the 12th. You gotta go hear him talk about the cocaine kickball game. It's so stupid, man. We got to get Ken Black on. That dude is funny, man. And if you saw him roasting at Myron Jewell's birthday party, I started to put that in the group. Man, he went the whole room, Gigolo Jackson, everybody. He gave it to him, man. It was crazy. Let me see. Yeah, but Khalil's he's locked up. So, and people say that was trumped up charges in a kangaroo court. I don't know. It was a bad look. You know what I'm saying? Tiasha agrees with you, Courtney. She said, "What do they want to see? What do people want to see when we say working in the community?" Dion said, "Now you see why I don't care about a lot of the shit people be out here calling themselves activists and don't speak to you when you see them, or they're always talking about what they do in the community." Tiasha says Vaughn Mays is actually out here working in the community. I give him big props. Man, I give anybody who's working in the community in Milwaukee big props. I don't care what you're doing. Because I give him credit for what he does as well. I don't have any beef with him, Frank, or anybody else. You know what I'm saying? If you out here on the front lines working, because this is a very frustrating place to work at. My thing about being on the front lines working with the people is that most of the resistance we got came from the people, right? Like, so when we would go up in grocery stores, Arab grocery stores, about selling legal lean or K2 or expired meat, we got feedback from our own people in the community who said, leave them alone. Who y'all think y'all is? Fake ass Panthers. Don't be messing with our Arabs. Them Arabs cool. Where y'all gonna be when we need some credit to get some meat and stuff? I said, you know what? I'm cool on this. Because my life was I was good. So I was like, I'm cool, man. I'm not gonna pay my target on my back for no reason, right? I'm all downtown and disrupting meetings at City Hall and shit. Could have had my ass knocked and in jail, and they wouldn't have gave a fuck. Would have lost my good plantation job. I was like, no, fuck that. Did I sound coonish right there? Would have lost my good plantation job, right? You ain't finna mess it up for me.
Right.
Shout out to Vaughn though. Vaughn's been on the show, man. Vaughn has been on the show. I don't look, like I said, if Frank was out here doing work in the community, I give him his props too. But he makes himself look bad when he does stuff like this. I guess that's my opinion. You make yourself look very bad. But I also believe that if you're really about doing this, you don't do it. You say you do it for a cause, not an applause. It ain't about reminding me of what you do for me every day. And I think that's the good thing about right now, because people say, well, who really works? Well, you wouldn't know unless you was out there working with them or you needed some help. So Shay says Mr. Black was the artist name on Crisscross Live and Die for Hip Hop. Mr. Black, that was his name. Yes. He said everybody was bumping the Brat Funkified, and not everybody. Look, 94, 95, I was a senior in high school. Hold on. That's some years, 2 years you can't really tell me about hip hop wise. I don't know how old he was in 94, 95. There were some people playing it because it was a song that was popular on the radio. Real hip hop dudes in 94, 95 was not bumping that. We weren't bumping that because we was the Rap-A-Lot and Big Mike and Scarface and the Ghetto Boys and UGK and A-Ball and MJG. and all that kind of stuff. E40, they had a chokehold on the game. Nobody's really bumping that. Like I say, younger kids, maybe if you was in middle school and you say, "Oh, this is nice. I can hear this on the radio." I was driving to school at 94. I'm bumping Outkast, Top Authority, Mac Mall. I'm the Dayton Family. We was Compton's Most Wanted. We was bumping that, man, quick. You know what I'm saying? All of the Death Row stuff, Murder Was the Case soundtrack, Above the Rim soundtrack with Big Pimpin' on it and Regulate. That's what people was listening to. Not no goddamn. The Brat came in. First of all, her album was in 93. So it wasn't in 94. So by the time 94 had come around, her wave had come and gone. So just to set the record straight on that. Y'all know not to play with me on no hip hop. But yeah, man. So I don't know. Y'all got any input on this activism kind of beef thing, man? I know it ain't.
Back then, I think, I was talking, I used to tell you and Jay, man, you know what I mean? Like, I look at a lot of these people out here, man, and, they just socially conscious. They really ain't done no work. It's a lot of work that they still got to do, and I used to tell you, like, man, I get bad energy off this Frank dude. I done saw him in a couple situations. It's different shits, you know what I mean? He got work to do. You know what I mean? Everybody looking at him like he a leader, but this dude ain't right. I used to say that shit.
You did. I've heard you say it.
And he ain't the only one. You know what I mean? I ain't finna go through the names, but you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I mean? We got to do more work. Traditionally, before anybody got any kind of place in the community, got any kind of status, you know what I'm saying? You had to live some years, and a lot of people had to recognize like you was real. You bought your shit. You live what you taught, or you had to be conditioned to be in that position.
As far as I'm concerned, we are still recipients of the greatness of Michael McGee Sr. That's when I think about community in Milwaukee and somebody who's come in the community, and Lloyd Barbie and Vel Phillips. I think about those people. And it's really about titles that are earned, not given. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's once again, I don't have people always want beef in the city. Like I guess they feel like we should have a problem with Vaughn, or we should have a problem with Frank, or we should have I don't have a problem with any of them. Tory Lowe, go do it. I don't have any envy. I don't say, man, I wish that was me. Or I wish I had their fame. I'd look at it like that's a good thing, and I keep it moving. Like that's good to have some people in the community who gonna stand up and advocate for the people. That is a beautiful thing to me. So it's never about personal shit for me, right? Like I'm never like, oh, like whatever. So
right. When you got somebody that's supposed to be for the community, like he was supposed to have been, and then they come back now and say that same community can suck my dick, like you really didn't give a fuck in the first place. You know what I mean? I feel the same way when I watch people who supposed to be activists or supposed to be pro-black or whatever, and then you catch them talking about shooting a motherfucker. Man, I'll pop the shit out of a motherfucker. Man, come on, man. You contradictive as a motherfucker. You got work to do too.
Because I can guarantee you, as many people here who you have a personal vendetta against are tremendously outnumbered by the people who have no issue with you whatsoever. A lot of them would say, "Who? Who is that? Now what did he do?" Like, so for you to say, "Yeah, it's Milwaukee suck my dick," and they turn their back on me, and after the accusations, nobody would do business with me, and I'm like, damn. So you mad you can't get money no more, or like, because what you mad at us for?
Right.
So it just became, when I'm just sitting there watching it myself, I said, this is crazy. And I didn't put no real merit into it. I thought what Ken Black did was super funny. I even thought Vaughn's live was funny as hell too, because dude, when he wants to go in on you, he goes in on you. That shit was funny as hell too. And I told him when he was on here, like I laugh at when they bang out on each other. I crack up laughing, man. It's so much funny shit. But yeah, man, y'all just do your best, man. If you want to get out there, do your best to get out there and do it, because it comes from the heart. And I think there's such thing as things that are legit and things that are illegitimate, right? And I really don't judge the individual if they doing good work. Like, because if you really out here for justice for the people, but you got 5 women and you got issues with your women, that ain't got nothing to do with the work. To me, some other people might say, Kev, that shows, character flaws, and that's the kind of person you can't follow. it is what it is, man. It is what
I
it
would
is.
say, I would say, how is he to those women?
Okay. Okay.
Is he deceitful? You know what I mean? Do we beat those women? Do we lie to those
Right.
women? You know
Okay.
what I mean? Because see, those are different traits that I look into people. I look for people. You know what I mean? Like whether or not I'm gonna deal with them or not. Because I know if you ain't got no good, if you can't have a good relationship at home, you know what I mean? You can't have no other kind of relationship. You're gonna be deceitful in a regular friendship or in a business friendship. You can't trust them either.
Okay. Okay. Hey, man. Like I said, I recognize all. Like I believe real is real, man. And so some of us, we first of all, we all have things we need to be working on, right? We do. But Kamar, that's a very good point you just made. That sometimes to see how a brother's relationship in his home does say a lot about him, right? Like, because if I'm not a leader in my own home, how the fuck can I go outside my home and lead anybody, right? Like, you need to get your own shit together. But I agree with that, but I'm saying I don't like his relationships, right? Like, because we've always been taught, like, you keep your mouth out another grown man business, right? Like, so if he whatever unless he's beating on them or raping them, then you got to step in and say that's foul. But until it's legal and it's charges pressed, it's all accusations. That's what I'm saying. And I don't usually, unless I witness it personally. And I say, wait a minute, man, I just seen dude do some foul shit. Then it changes my perspective on it.
Right. You know, I'm gonna keep it real, right? I feel like I usually feel like that at first when you eat one thing pop up about a motherfucker, but then when it be like a bunch of shit popping up about a motherfucker, yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna look at you funny now.
You're right. And it gets more and more skeptical as I see more and more shit until the point
And
where I
then
just say, you know what?
when I see screenshotted inbox conversations and shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna look at you funny.
Okay, so it goes back to what I said about me, just my own personal perspective of walking away from being just very active and out here. Like there was a tolerance at first where I said, nah, whatever, that's his business. And then it got to be like, damn, another one. And then it was like, hold on, man. And then it was like, whoa, is that real? Until the point where I actually seen, like you said, where I said, oh shit, it's time to close shop. It's time for me to back up off of this, right? And that's why I kind of got away from the whole action, like because I seen too many screenshots and text messages, Kamar. I seen too much. I seen too much to the point where I was like, oh no, man, I'm done. And that's why I would never say nobody's name or nothing. We do outlaws. We live on the fringe of society. That's where I prefer. That's where I prefer us to be.
I got a question though, man. But like, okay, do we just not say nothing, or do we say something and warn the rest of the community?
I trust myself, and I
What do
trust
we
you,
do?
and I trust Rail, and I trust the Juice Lady to have a sense of when it's necessary to say something, right? Like, because I think we can all
So
observe.
you saying you would converse it with a few people first?
And yeah, if it was something that we all felt strongly about, and it's like, Kev, it's time to call a spade. Fuck all that hands off shit. Then
Okay,
yeah,
all
then
right.
I'm going.
Now,
Then I'm
okay,
gunning. Then
all that to the side. Now I'm asking you, what would be your decision? Like if I brought it to you, what would you tell me?
it would depend on what proof you bought me.
God damn it, Kevin! I just
No, I'm being honest. Hey, look, listen. If you bought me definitive proof of something and I couldn't, I said, damn, there's no denying it. Then what you want to do, cuz? What you want to do? That's the kind of person I am. But you can't bring me something skeptical or
I feel
maybe.
like, hey, because I also feel like in order to protect our women, you know what I mean, this needs to be known.
Okay. There's validity to what you say. I'm not like I said, when it became legal, we discussed it on the show. When it was charges pressed, we discussed it on the show. We had back then we had people we had people who would call in or people who would inbox, and I would say to them, listen, I don't know him personally, and we don't do gossip. This is not What we do is straight lace. We don't do what do they call it? What do they call it? Gossip shows. Ah, shit! I'm having a brain fart.
Celebrity.
Tabloids. That we don't do a tabloid, right? Like, so if just because it's the word is out or somebody been saying this, we usually don't give it shine until it's oh shit. Now this, and even when they charged, not convicted, we still say allegedly. It's the most sucker free shit you're gonna ever see in your life. That's what I'm saying. But Kamar, you trying to ask me when would I get pissed personally and just put a motherfucker out there? I guess.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean, just for the sake of conversation, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, what y'all think? Like, even for the listeners, you know what I mean? Like, it may be somebody out there listening to us, listening to three brothers talk, like, and they know somebody that's on this type of bullshit. Like, shoot, you know what I mean? Like, do we say something, put them on blast, and protect our women? Because this is who we doing it to.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Or do you know what I mean? Or do we just be like, you know what? I ain't getting in that shit.
Well, okay. So I would think that especially if there was females that we talk to that we know, right? So say these accusations were made and a sister that we converse with or that you know was saying, well, I'm about to go over here and woo. Then I think then you can say, hey man, be careful because this is what I heard and I don't know this to be true. You'll probably be able to tell me better than, but I heard that this ain't on the up and up or, be careful because he will do this or that. Talk about it in that sense, yeah. Not to say I ain't gonna say nothing. And she go over there and get victimized and be like, why the fuck you ain't tell me?
Hey, listen, just dig. I'm gonna tell you, man. I got this situation right some years back. The sister had told me about this brother, and she said when she walked up and spoke, he hugged her, but then kept his face all close into her, like he was trying to kiss her. And she know he married. She know his wife too, right? And she felt real uncomfortable. Well, then I want to say maybe a month later, I was talking to another sister, you know what I'm saying? And she told me how that same brother had her feeling uncomfortable.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And she go around him often. So I told her, well, be careful. Because this is something else that I've heard.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's a sister.
You dig what I'm saying? So in my mind, it was like, I'm warning you to be careful, to be on your guard. Right. I ain't saying this is what he do. I told her that. I ain't saying this is what he do.
Word on
this
the
is
street.
what I heard, and this is what you telling me.
Right.
So you be careful. You know what I'm saying?
And see, sometimes you got to be careful as a man that you ain't listening to females too much. You end up hating on the brother, and one of them is bitter and they lying. That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful with being in somebody's business. Because now you run around with your mouth in the man's business, and then he fuck around and find out it's you and step to you. Now you in some shit like, yeah, man, what you telling so and so? It's like, well, hold on, brother. That's what I heard. Ultimately, it will make you look like a match. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful.
See, and that's why this question, you know what I mean? That's why I thought to bring that question up. You know what I mean? Because like, dog, there's some deep shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like what you do. Like women expect us to protect them or respect this. And dig this. And the sister who I told wound up going back to that sister who told me the first thing. And you know what I mean? So she was mad at me for telling her business.
There we go.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like all foul, but then like we all friends. You know what I mean? Now, what if something had to happen to the second sister by me not saying something? You dig what I'm saying? And like it's all fucked up, but you know what I mean? Like, and it's hard to have a good heart in the middle of all that shit.
I just know my father used to always tell me that a man is not supposed to be gossiping all the goddamn time. He said, man, you a man, you don't walk around every time I see you got something to say. There's one thing he used to tell me is a motherfucker who talk about you to me will talk about me to you and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't just talk about people when he around you. When he around somebody else, he talking about your ass. So a man shouldn't be a chatty Cathy, a chatty Patty,
mm-hmm.
right? Like
yeah, I know that, but like I say,
but if it's somebody can be hurt by it, right? And what we're talking about is accusations made, say that a brother has a history of being inappropriate with women, and he makes unnecessary, unwanted advances that border on the line of sexual harassment. So as a man, when you start to hear that, and you say, well, I've heard this, but I think you have to be careful who you divulge that information to,
No doubt.
because
No
it's
doubt.
sometimes you can tell the wrong person who don't give a fuck about being messy, and they'll go splatter that shit all over the place and even throwing some shit you didn't say. And so the mess is bigger now than it was. I just think you just have to be vigilant on, especially protecting those around you who you care about, and being honest and truthful. Because the rule is, don't say nothing about that man you wouldn't say to his face, right? Like, so if I couldn't step to him and say, "Hey, bro, man, this is what I heard," I ain't gonna be around him like I didn't know. I ain't never heard that. Nah, man, they been saying that shit about you, cuz. Like, that's the kind of shit where I be at. Like, it's just principles, just masculine principles of masculinity, right? So I won't be involved in somebody else's bullshit. Dion, you have a point. They said Martin Luther King was a freak and J. Edgar had the tapes, and he was a great leader, but his home was stable though, because he was cheating on his wife. Did that mean his home wasn't functioning properly? And then there's rumors that the mafia had the pictures of J. Edgar in his foolishness. So hey, there's that. Sharon said, I can't deal with people who don't respect and love on their people. I guess that's kind of where I'm at too. Is like, are you sincere? Are your intentions sincere in the community or with the people? I think
I'm gonna tell you, man. Intent is that's the only thing that matter, man. That's what karma hit you. That's what karma come in at. You know what I mean? Your intent. If I can't wish bad on you, Kevin. We made out of the same shit. We got the same energy. I'm wishing bad on me. What I put out is what I get back. You dig what I'm saying? So intent is everything.
Yeah.
So now with that being said, to go back to that question, right? Like, what's your intent? You dig what I'm saying? Like, if my intent was in the right place when I went to say something. Now, whether or not she went back, that's on her. But you know what I mean? In order for my life to be right, I have to follow what I feel is right.
And sometimes you just got to know when to shut the fuck up. That's just what it come down to. Because you end up in a situation where you be sitting there like, I should have never said a goddamn thing. How did I involve? This is some bullshit, right? Like, it's and Kamar, you don't never know. It's like it's you hit and miss, hit and miss, hit and miss. Mama Jenkins said, y'all on point. Seasoned leaders, we don't have any. We got people looking for solutions. I love sincere people. Me as well. My sister Sonia Thrower, how you doing? She said, "What's the question?" We were just talking about. I think I clarified what the question was. And just to close tonight, like the Bucks, right? Like everybody was talking about the Bucks. Very disappointing. People get a little spoiled sometimes and forget where they come from. Bucks have had the best record in the NBA. 3 out of the last 5 years? They won a championship, something they hadn't done in 50 years. They're considered, one of the better teams in the NBA. And they lost. They got upset. First and foremost, I think people need to understand basketball. Styles make fights. And the Heat have always been a bad matchup for the Bucks, just because of where their team, their balance is, and their coaching and stuff like that. Then they lost. Okay, they lost. But Giannis Antetokounmpo had a press conference in which the question was asked was this season a failure? And I thought his answer was very interesting, because it was not something that you've really heard an athlete really dive into a whole lot when we start talking about our psychology. Because most of the time when you got a great athlete who's highly accomplished, who wins a lot, and who's all world, and you ask him, was this a waste of a season? He'd probably look at the camera and say, yes, absolutely. Anything less than a championship is unacceptable. We've set a standard, and we got to live up to that standard, and we're going to have to go into the offseason. But he said, is it a failure? Are you serious? He's like, Michael Jordan played 15 years. He won 6 championships. So was his other 9 seasons a failure? He's like, if we don't win a championship every year, is it failure? He said, so the Bucks didn't win a world title between 1971 and 2021. It was 50 years. So was the other 50 years a failure? How are you defining failure? I like the fact that he kept saying, I don't want to make this personal. I want you to understand that this is a bad question. Like, was this a failure? I mean, we just played an NBA season in which we won, but we're not going to win a championship. He said, that's sports. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it's your day, sometimes it's somebody else's day. But it's not a failure. Failure is the wrong word to use. So I want to get y'all take on that. Did y'all hear Giannis's?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. You ain't failed till you gave up.
Right.
Okay. I feel like, to me, the team fell short of expectations.
That's it.
They failed to reach their ultimate goal. But was the season a total failure? No, because if it was, then they would have been one of the worst teams in the NBA and not have even made it to the playoffs.
Right.
Right? I think that, and then I heard Charles Barkley and those brothers, and I rarely do I agree with Charles Barkley. But he broke it down like, dude, I played X amount of years in the league and I never won a ring. Am I a failure? He's like, I look around and see where I came from and how I was able to change my grandmother and my mother's life and my community and all the great things I've been able to do. So because I didn't win a championship, am I a failure? He said, hell no. I'm one of the most accomplished people you ever gonna meet in your life. But I did not win a championship in the NBA. And so the other guys, Shaq was saying, like, but the perception of success is all or nothing, right? Like, it's like, if you're not rich, if you ain't rich with a big mansion and a big fancy car, are you a failure in life? Right? Like, what's a winner? What's a loser? I just thought it was Rel. Did you hear Giannis's kind of spiel on this?
No, I didn't, but just hearing what y'all said, I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't believe in, shit. I wrestled, you know what I'm saying? Like, I played sports. So, just the fact that I went out there and did my thing, shit. If I got bested, it just wasn't my day. There's wins and then there's losses, which come with a lesson.
Okay. Tiarsha saying, Kamar, you did right. And just because the first lady had gotten mad about you telling her business, that's oh, well, she can be mad, but your conscience is clear because you possibly saved the next lady. Okay. Shout out to Kamar. Dion said they won one game and had a good season and choked in the playoffs. Yeah, they fell short. But I can't. Are they failures? I mean, Giannis is like what, a 3 or 4 time MVP, a Finals MVP, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Is he a failure because they didn't win? Like, I don't think so. It's a very disappointing end to a season that we had high expectations for, and the reality of it is that he was hurt, right? And now I would say what he should have said is, I'm a little disappointed in myself because I didn't play the game that I wanted to play. Because I feel like you got to take full accountability for the loss. To dismiss it and say, well, it's not a failure. Well, it's also not cool either, right? But I think to label anybody a failure it's just crazy. Shabaka said we love Jabbar with the Lakers when he left Milwaukee. I bet y'all did. Appreciated that, right? And there's a lot behind why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar left Milwaukee, with his affiliations, his Muslim affiliations, allegedly, and Milwaukee being a little dangerous for him. And so he had to get up out of here. If you know, you know. Dion says all Wisconsin's teams are failures. Are they? I feel like it's only one champion in every sport, and everybody after that champion, they say second place is the first loser, right? Like, so he said all of them. Are they all failures? What's a failure, right? Like, I don't know. Sonia Thor said Milwaukee Bucks still number one. I mean, it's hometown. We gotta love them. Good, bad, or indifferent. He said we love the diesel in Los Angeles from 2000 to 2003. Yeah, I mean, Los Angeles is always the recipient of somebody leaving somewhere else, right? I guess I related to this after I thought about it because I went to school, right? And my goal ultimately when I left high school playing ball, my goal was to go to the league. Like I said, I'm going to the NFL. I'm about to get a shot. I'm about to go to the NFL. It didn't work out, right? Like, I came home with a degree in my hand and somebody said, oh, damn, Kev, why you ain't go pro? And I said, at first I used to try to explain to them how hard it is actually to go pro, right? Like, it's the odds, you got a greater odds of winning the mega bucks than you got of being in the NFL or the NBA, right? That's no excuse. There's situations and there's circumstances. I used to try to explain that to people. And then I got to the point of saying, well, wait a minute. I was the first black male in my family to get a bachelor's degree. I did go pro. I didn't
Straight up.
fail. I ain't failed. I fell short of my goal that I had for myself, but I'm not a failure. I didn't fail. So, and I had a great college career, Hall of Fame career in a couple schools. So it's like, I didn't fail. But if somebody say, well, Kev, you didn't go to the league, I would say, yeah, I wasn't that good. Obviously, I wasn't. But there's no shame in saying that. You know what I'm saying? That, hey, okay, so I wasn't the greatest football player that ever walked the earth. I was good enough at it to make it profitable for myself, to make it so that it became something that I could provide for myself, or a portion of what I needed. So I just think people got to reassess what is successful. And that's where we get to this. Everybody wants to be a king. They say too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Well, there's really only one king in the village. You can be a king of your household, but somebody has to be a regular person. Listen, as bad as this shit sounds, I want Burger King to have qualified employees so my food can be hot and fresh. Somebody has to play that role for whatever time they play it. Maybe they're a teenager when they work there. Maybe they're an older person who needed a way, and Burger King happened to be that. So I work in Burger King. I must be a failure. No, because why are you working in Burger King? If you said, look, I got kids and I needed some way to take care of my kids and I didn't want to go to the penitentiary and I need to be able to do something legal to bring some money home, guess what? You're successful because you went and got a job and you're able to do it. So you don't allow nobody to tell you you're a failure, right? And so I just kind of processed that whole Giannis thing different. Yeah, I was disappointed. But I had been saying I didn't think this team would be able to do what people were putting on it. It's the oldest team in the NBA. From a sports perspective, I didn't think Middleton was dependable enough. As the third of the big three now, I think his game has faded a bit, and I think that they need some youth. They got to get, because everybody else has young gunners, and you don't have them. And so there's things that the Bucks need to do. So it wasn't an absolute given that they could just walk through the playoffs. So people are spoiled, man. They forget that use the same motherfuckers that was on my back when I was up. Now that I'm down, you want to bail on me. Fire everybody. Fuck them all. You know, he said it's imperative that black players from their own leagues, with our level of talents, we can break the NBA, NFL, and MLB. You never know what we could do. You never know. You never know, Shabaka. Anything is possible. It's 10, damn near 10:30. It's time to get up out of here. Kamar, you got something coming out? Because we'll be back Wednesday. We're gonna have my brother Keaton on here. K Rice promoting their Arrogant Culture Derby day party event. We'll have him on Wednesday. And we got Ajamu coming back because we screwed up the schedule for the last time. I don't know. I gotta go check out when is the next one. I thought it was the 15th, he said.
I'm not sure.
Okay, we got to double check. You got something coming up this weekend?
Oh
Or this
yeah.
week?
All week, you're going to catch me at the Sherman Phoenix. I'm going to have them banging smoothies with me. I'm going to have that tea with me, the sea moss gel, elderberry, the detox tonics. Man, y'all better come on down and holler at the kid.
Okay, get with that man. Get with that man. Get you some tonic, man. Rail, what you got popping this week? Just same old, or you got some dates on your calendar? You muted, homie. You muted.
Yeah, I guess I am, huh? No, I was just saying the same old. You can find my book, 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope, on Amazon. You can check me out on TikTok as Higher Frequency, HIGHER FREAKUENCY, where I just be trying to drop knowledge. I just dropped a video on how you can start your seedlings for cheap. If you don't know if you want to do this gardening thing yet, you can do it at little or no cost. You could possibly get free seeds from public libraries. You could use toilet paper rolls as seed starters. And if you go to Sam's Club and get those croissants, you could use that croissant container as a humidity dome just to get this cracking at no cost to you.
All right, man. Man, holla at the brother, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out Shabaka. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced tomorrow night on Blog Talk Radio. There's the number. Dion says, y'all be safe. You be safe as well, my brother. Be careful on the roads out there, man. I just want y'all to know, man, like I said, it's about really getting to know yourself is so important at where we're at right now, right? Like this might be the era of understanding self. Like it's like right now, if you haven't done a real internal inventory of yourself, you're gonna get lost and you're gonna be so confused and downtrodden, right? and you'll be able to blame it on any and everything, right? And a lot of our young people, their problem is that they don't really know themselves. See, they try to exist with a group identity. Groupthink has never worked out for anybody, right? They have to get some way somehow to be able to ask themselves crucial questions. Who am I? What do I really want? Like, I'm really in the practice right now of dealing, professionally with the people who come and see me. And it ain't really about what I know or my level of expertise. It's really about me asking them that question of, what do you really want for you? What's a perfect picture for you? When you look at your life, you say, it would be all good if I could just blank, or if I just had blank, or if I could just do blank. Let's start filling in some of those blanks, right? But in order to do that, you got to do this inventory in which you look in the side and say, where am I short at? Where am I weak at? We love to stand on where we're strong at. We never want to discuss where we're weak at. And that's why we can't really get with other people and be good team players, because you don't want to accept that you can't do something somebody else does, instead of saying, but I can do something that he can't in my own right. Okay, he might be able to do that better, but I could do this better. All I got to do is play my role. You only find your role by getting to know yourself. So, I just want everybody to just start looking inward. We did a show last week called Do for Self. I've listened to it 3-4 times. It's a beautiful show, and the sentiment is beautiful. And this really is a time where we need to do for self. Stop waiting on other people to save us. Let's stop waiting on the bus that may never come. Because eventually, all you start to do is complain, and then nobody wants to be around you. Because at that point, your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, and ultimately, you just look like a coon. I will see y'all Wednesday night, man. Outlaws for life, man. Shout out to Rail, OB Rail Kenobi, and the Witch Doctor, man. We'll be back Wednesday. Thank y'all for tuning in. Share the show, share the show, share the show.